We need reparations, we need vacations, we need blue strips for all the time we spent waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid. I watch all of my people die. Why your people try to act like we commit crime? Get killed on TV, got our kids scared to go outside. It's time you pick a side. Before we turn this bitch up, Mr. President, better fall in line. Yeah, we don't need loans, we need what we owe. We need police to stop killing sisters inside their home. And when it happened and we burn this bitch down, they need to stop telling us we was wrong. Ay, and we need unity. We need the government to stop bringing drugs in our community. They better stop playing, we not the ones. You got guns and we got guns. We kill if you play with our funds. Yeah, how we supposed to restore when they won't give us more? When they got knees on our necks when we walk out the store. How we heal when they go to the park, kill a 12-year-old boy for killing, we ready for war. Yeah, and we need reparations, we need vacations, we need blue strips for all the time we spent waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid.
Yeah, peace. Greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. I was having some mic issues before I came on. Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me, man. I see the Freedmen are in the building. The Freedmen are on deck. Let me see if I can get some ones in the chat. I don't know if my mic been acting up. See, I see the fam. I see the fam is piling in. All right, I got some ones. All right, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Man, let me give some shout outs before we go in. But first, hit that like button, fam. Hit the like button. Share the video out. Let it be known that we're having a conversation today about the Freedmen. And let me give a shout out to the sister that made this shirt, Andrea Ortiz. I'm gonna put a link to her inbox in the chat. The sister is one of the few Black women that actually designs men's clothing exclusively. She goes throughout different malls in Georgia, and I bumped into her in the mall, and I seen this King joint, and I was like, I got to have it. I got to have it. So let me put that in the chat real quick. Support the sister. Also, if you are in the Atlanta area, you got to check out the new Black Wall Street building. We went there in Stonecrest. It was nothing but Black love, Black unity. It has some of that other stuff mixed in. I ain't gonna get into none of that right now, but let me get some shout outs though, man. First and foremost, shout out to all of our Be the Power mods. Shout out to all the BTP members. Vince Jefferson is in the building. We have a critique already. Let me read the critique before we get in. Somebody named Lil Narm says, some of us are like sheep to the slaughter because of the ignorance we walk with. It was a decent video when you think about how we terrorize our communities that way. So we're going to shift. See, and we're going to get into that tonight. Everything is a dumping ground on Black folk, particularly Black men, right? It's easy for us to just dump on us, on our own people. I don't know, Lil Norm, but you stick around because you're going to learn something tonight. This is what we do at Be the Power. You're going to learn something tonight. Looney is in the building. What's going on, fam? Lafayette Ward, peace. BTP Prime, a.k.a. Michael Jordan on deck. Freedmen, New York in the mother building. It's time to go in. You already know what it is. Sister Roz was good. We're going to have Sister Roz and Sister Cynthia and what was that sister name? I just got off with. I think it was Natalie. Excuse me. Roz could type it in the chat if I forgot. But finally, we're going to have the Sisters Be the Power live stream. We're going to set that up on our other channel, the BTP Media Group channel. We might even change the name of that channel, family. I'm not sure yet. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to that. Sister Shanna is in the building, a member. BTP is in the building, engaging Black peace. Sister Tamika One, what's going on, Sister Mika? Sister BTP Cynthia is in the building. The Freedmen family is on deck. BTP Riri, peace, sis. Freedmen on deck. Frida Gillespie says class is in session. Y'all already know what it is once we cut this camera on. We not the largest platform, but I don't think that there's a group on YouTube that could touch Be the Power. Our only rivals is going to be when the sisters set up their live stream and they start streaming. Shout out to our Freedmen sisters. This is the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. We doing this resurrection thing over here. Freedmen Media is on deck. What's going on, brother? My brother Dre is in the building. Antonio Worley is in the building. All right, so let me see who else we got. All right. Fascia texture. I think I said it right this time. It sounds like I said it wrong again. Devon in the building. Oh, yes, the book club. We're going to do John Brown December 2nd, family. December 2nd, we're going to do the John Brown book club. I'm going to pull that up a little bit later. Frida Gillespie, Cosetta Orsula in the building. All right, so if I missed y'all, Black Seed, I see you, fam. Black Seed, the child of life. I love my wife is in the building. Sister Tansy. Okay, boom. I think I got everybody that's in the chat so far. So I'm waiting for the bros to come on, but this is a response to this brother conscious rapper by the name of Yellowpain, right? Put out a very, very disturbing video. Very disturbing video. And I didn't even watch the whole video. I tried to watch the whole video again so I could hear the lyrics, and I just couldn't. It's like I got, I left the comment on the YouTube video. I was like, I'm getting Dylan Roof vibes off this one, fam. I'm getting Dylan Roof vibes. People in the chat, they saying it was a horrible video. It was a horrible video. So, the song centers around Black people celebrating Thanksgiving. And one thing I try to do is I try to preface what we're about to say based on where we're at now as opposed to where we came from. So many of us have had that conscious, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the white man religion, and yada, 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 yada. Most of us have been through that. Let's just be honest. Most of us have been through the whole Thanksgiving, the white man, the pilgrims, the Indians, and but now that the information, BTP Ali is in the building, but now that information is so readily available at the touch of one's fingertips. I mean, it's easy to see that Thanksgiving, and if y'all go back and check out the one we did on Christmas and New Year's last year, you'll see it has a different meaning for us freedmen, those of us who were enslaved. Has a way different meaning for us.
Facts.
So, and we're going to get into that tonight. So the brother is in the video. He comes in and he depicts himself dressed as a pilgrim slaughtering this freedman family because they celebrated Thanksgiving. I was appalled. Absolutely. Even if I was still on the conscious anti-Thanksgiving thing, I would have been appalled seeing that video. Like, what the hell is this crap? This is not dope. This is not art. This is the Black people, because they can't dump on any other group. Y'all heard me on this platform speak about Barack Obama, one of the worst presidents Black Americans have ever had. Some people get that wrong too, because I remember that video he did, Ali, My Vote Don't Count. And he was basically saying that Obama was hamstrung by the Congress and the Senate. Nah, there were several actions that the president of the United States could have taken for our people specifically. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
And we'll get into that another time. So, the killing of our people in this video, I thought it was crazy. I didn't like it. And nobody on the team liked it. He was like, what is this? Our brother Ibrahim wrote it was a short article, but it was powerful and impactful. And we're going to read that in a few minutes. Brother Ali, matter of fact, do you have anything that you want to share before we start digging in?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with this before we go too deep into the actual
Wait, hold
subject.
on, Ali, real quick, brother. The brother said he wanted to come on tonight. I told him that we're going to run through our response, and then we're going to bring him on. So hopefully we can get the brother on and he can explain the video. It's grotesque. But we're going to educate tonight. We're going to show what Thanksgiving means to the freedmen, to Black Americans.
That's right.
We're going to show that. Go ahead, Brother Ali.
One of the things that I realized, with our people is that we have a tendency to beat up on our people. And like I said earlier, this whole woke thing, being woke is almost like a license to beat up on and attack our people.
That's right.
Particularly the people that you think are not woke, right? Quote unquote woke. So that's what seems to happen. Once people get a little bit of information, they want to browbeat other people, and by proximity, it's going to be the people close to them, right? It's going to be their family members. Now it's like, I remember when we first started getting knowledge and all of this kind of stuff, we did the same kind of thing.
Right.
So we know, because we came through that path and we understand exactly how it goes. So when you start getting knowledge, particularly knowledge of self and all of this, now you want to beat other people in the head with it because they 85ers, they don't understand, you know what I'm saying? They the deaf, dumb, and blind. We got to civilize the uncivil, all of this, right? This is what's going on.
Civilize the 85er.
You know, you know what I'm saying? They don't get it. They don't get it. So we
They
gotta
don't get it.
beat it into them. You know, somehow we're gonna make the difference that the boys and all of these other great minds of intelligentsia couldn't make the difference, but we gonna make the difference with our little bit of information that we done acquired through our schools and schools of thoughts or whatever. So, but yeah, it's just it's a path that a lot of young people travel when they start getting a little bit of information. Now it's time to beat up people, and the people you're gonna beat up are gonna be the people around you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Hold on. Honest for the contribution, engaging black. He says, easy to punch down instead of white supremacy, artistic coward. And we're gonna read his lyrics. So I'm thinking, should we read the lyrics first and then get into, because I don't want to play the
Into
video.
the visuals. Yeah.
I don't want to play the video because I don't want the channel to get struck. I don't know if the brother would do that. I don't know. So, but we do have the lyrics. So you want to get into his lyrics first, bro?
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
why not? I know we was trying to wait for Ibrahim because he really wanted to go in.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Do what we do.
All right, so I did want to wait for Ibrahim.
Was Logic coming? I think Logic's coming too.
Yeah, I believe so. I think the whole team going to jump on tonight. So let's get into this.
Yeah.
Let's get into the brother's lyrics. So, the thumbnail of him being soaked with the blood of freedmen, something that we're used to seeing in this American society. Go back and watch our book club book, The Bloody Shirt, as the brother sits there with the bloody shirt to understand exactly what we mean when we say that the blood of our freedmen ancestors have been being spilled. And I guess that it's okay to keep spilling our blood, even if it is for content and artistic purposes. But that's what we're here for now. None of that stuff can slide no more. So let's get into this, the lyrics. See if the people can see that. Okay, yeah, they can see that. Let's get into the brother's lyrics. Okay, I know you waiting for this one. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, this is a cancellation. I know this is the time of the year where the family members get together, ain't it? Greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, turkey, better with the dressing, ain't it? Wonder if I put a little bit of blood on the turkey, would it elevate it? So now, the blood he's talking about is the blood of the black freedman family that he and his goons in the video go in and murder, right? He's setting the stage for this Charleston church Dylan Roof style massacre. I have no other way to give an
really,
analogy.
yeah.
I'm losing, but let me get into verse 1. Verse 1, bloody, 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 people of color. Now, y'all know we got to pause right there. Y'all know we don't like that word, people of color. People of color is a term meant to elevate everybody else and put black people at the bottom. That's why paying attention to our platform is very, very vital, because this is some of the stuff that we teach on. Every time bills get passed for people of color, black people still remain at the bottom. He says, cut them, shoot them, burn them, leave them to suffer. This song is not about pilgrims and Indians meeting each other and feasting for supper. This is about millions of Indians murdered and villages burning and bleeding for nothing. Oh, really? Oh, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Hold on, because I just got a message from the brother. Hold on. So the brother said he doesn't want to get on when we're done. He wants to get on before we get our point across. I don't see the logic in that. What's your thoughts on that, Ali? Let's add Ibrahim.
I don't really have a problem with that. Like, I think that if you want to lay it out, you could bring them on. you can bring him on, but he got a. The thing is, he has a whole viral video, right? Not just on YouTube, it's on Instagram and other platforms, right? So what we trying to do is speak about what he's already put out.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody has already had the opportunity to hear what he has had to say.
That's right.
Be it a song, be it the visuals that he put there. Now he could come. I don't mind him coming on to defend whatever or explain or whatever it is he wants to do. I don't have a problem with that, but we got to be able to make the points that we're trying to make. Right?
That's what I'm saying. It only makes sense because you have a video that has, 60,000-70,000 views. I don't even know where it's at right now, right? But yeah. I mean, Ibrahim, what you think about that? The brother said he wants to come on before we get our point across.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm in agreement.
Okay, so you come on, brother, come on through. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish reading these lyrics out. I'm gonna finish.
You know what? Pause on reading the lyrics. Bring him in. We'll do a quick, 10-15-minute intro, just letting the people know who he is and some of his work.
Yeah,
no, he's not in the back.
Break the lyrics down with him.
Okay, because he's not in the back of the. Okay, we can do that. He's not in the back channel right now, but we can do that. So
what we might be able to do is jump right kind of. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you thinking. Maybe once we bring him on, we could jump right into the video. Find if he's cool with us playing the video, we play the video, let the people see it, we go through it, analyze it, and then give what we think about it. You understand what I'm saying? And give that particular breakdown of the history.
Indeed.
That's just another thought.
I mean, look, I'm just flowing. So when the brother jumps on, because I don't want to break in the break. I hope he can hear. If he got the link already, if he wants to jump on, we can get right into it. But I'm in go mode, so I'm ready to.
All right. So yeah, what's wrong with finishing the lyrics?
All right, so let's just finish the lyrics. Then we could just
so we're not sitting here.
Yeah. So he's okay. So this is about millions of Indians murdered in villages, burning and bleeding for nothing. This is about all of my descendants from Africa, happy and acting like we ain't disgusted. So we should be disgusted about what white people did to Indians. But what about what Indians did to black people? But we're going to get into that later. Y'all be saying that ain't the reason we celebrating. We be knowing, actually. But let me finish.
That's a fact.
This is about giving the glory to God and the time we spent as a family, ain't it? That was so long ago. We wasn't even alive. We got to accept the changes. So he thinks, Brother Yellowpain believes that we celebrate Thanksgiving because of the Pilgrims and the Indians and some form of peace treaty or negotiation that they had over pumpkin pie and turkey and whatever harvest foods they were able to cook up. He doesn't understand the history of why black folk, freedmen today, celebrate Thanksgiving, but we're going to get into that too. Class is in session, family. He says, I keep embracing the demons. How do we celebrate on the same day of a grievous murder and torture and slavery? They was really chopping Indian babies in pieces. Cut off the mama's head. Yeah, kick it around and play in the street with it. Hold up, did I really say chopping up babies to pieces? Chop up the baby, chop the baby, chop the baby. Grandma lurking. That's okay, Granny. Watch the baby.
Now, like that's something we're gonna really have to get into, just the cinematography of all that, right? It reminds me of the movie that came on Amazon Prime, where they played with the baby in the pillowcase, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And
cat in the bag.
Cat in the bag, and she just had to sit there and watch.
While she was being raped. Let's not forget that part.
Facts.
But she had to watch that while she was being raped by two inbred. I said I'm gonna be easy tonight. So, okay. The bridge is eat up the dead of bodies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you thought the cop was crazy. I'm killing everybody. Oh, yeah, I'm talking not so crazy. When you pair that with the visuals in the video, I mean, I can only take it one way. Hopefully the brother can come on and explain it. Verse 2, more blood than the Holocaust, but y'all still won't call it off. Killed so many Indians, they had to get Africans. That's how we got involved. That's just not historically accurate, my brother. It's not historically accurate.
That's not accurate. What we're gonna do to prove this point is we're gonna go back into them papal bulls in the 1400s and show where the Atlantic slave trade started.
You know,
and show how before the Anglo narrative that you're referring to, because you're referring to an Anglo narrative. Before that, we're gonna go back to the late early 1500s when the conquistadors, the Spaniards and the Portuguese, brought slaves over here with them into the colony called New Spain.
That's
and
right.
helped them to create the colony called New Spain, and they were enslaved people of African ancestry, of Moorish ancestry, most of them. In the late early 1500s. So it doesn't start with killing off millions of Indians. That is not how slavery started for our people. Not
Facts.
at all.
Facts. All right. So he says, then they went and got God involved. That's when they got our heart involved. Because of that reason, we made this a black tradition. Tell me who has I don't know, it's a question mark there. So I'm guessing that part wasn't able to be transcribed. It says, ain't we the same people that was marching on Washington for racial equality? That's what we was marching on Washington for? Racial equality? Okay.
No,
ain't we the descendants of civil rights leaders making sure they educated us properly? Ain't we the same people mad at the same people for making a mockery? Didn't we invent cancel culture? So tell me why we can't cancel culture. There's a lot of problematic statements in these lyrics. Where do we begin? I was hoping the brother.
Can we bring the brother on and maybe he can explain what he was thinking?
Yeah, brother Yellowpain, you're listening, obviously. If you would like to jump on, please do. We're waiting for you. I'm gonna put a link to the lyrics in the chat. Y'all know we share links. We share the links. And man, where's my screenshots at? That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what's
we look, man, like when it comes to being vanguards for our people, like this is it right here. So you got, if you have this, we find this highly problematic, highly offensive, and I'm just assuming you're a member of our particular tribe. So come on and break it down for us. Help us to understand, because just on face value, when we looking at it, it's almost like, how in the world could you bring yourself to do that? So we giving you an opportunity, and we'll love you to take the opportunity to come and make us and help us to understand, because I don't understand. I don't get it, bro. I just 100 with you. When I looked at this, I was pissed off. I was pissed off. I couldn't believe what I saw. And I know you were looking for shock value reaction, but I mean, I'll get into my questions if you come on. But look, man, this is highly problematic, and
yeah,
I don't know why this hasn't been addressed. Maybe just because you just put it out and not a lot of people seen it, but it's gonna be a problem.
A lot of people like it. I've been paying attention to where I've seen it posted. People like it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it has to do with what we consistently talk about, is the fact that so much anti-American sentiment has been built up in our people over the years from different thought leaders. Whether it be Malcolm X. We love Malcolm. but Malcolm is one of the people who helped to promote an anti-American sentiment, right? And a lot of the things that Malcolm and people of the Nation of Islam were promoting were things that were not necessarily rooted in the history, the true history of America, particularly the history of our freedmen ancestors. It definitely wasn't rooted in that.
That's right. And another thing is, we're the y'all hear me use this analogy all the time. I'm gonna use it tonight. I'm gonna probably use it 100 times in the future. America is the house that everybody gets to come into and make themselves comfy. Black Americans, the freedmen specifically, those of us who have had ancestors who were enslaved, is the doormat that everybody gets to wipe their feet on before they walk into this house and make themselves comfortable. That's why we're going to get into some of the history here. You know, the brothers' focus on Native Americans is misplaced. What they did to us is not taught in schools and not taught in the history books. It's not information that's readily available. And we're going to get into some of that.
Hold on, brother. What is still being done? What is still being done?
Right.
We're talking about to the freedmen right now.
To this day, right now.
That's right.
This day. Come on, man.
So Kareem Ali says, oh my God, look at what was going on for years to our people. That's why he spoke like that. What?
I don't understand the point.
Break that down, Kareem Ali. Break that down.
From the lyrics that we read, his focus is on Indians. What white people did to Indians
while killing up black people.
Right. And at the same time, I gotta say it like this: those Indians saw those white people when they first came to these shores with black people as their slaves, right? And not once do you find in history Indians advocating for the abolishment of slavery on behalf of the so-called Negroes that these white people were holding as their chattels.
That's right.
Why are you so up in arms over that? Not only that, but like brother said, they partook in the practice of Negro chattel slavery. It wasn't just the 5 civilized tribes either. Those are the ones that are talked about.
That's right. Y'all know we got the receipts because y'all know what we do over here on Be the Power. Just the facts. So I don't know where I want to go with this next. Ibrahim.
Yeah, I'm gonna just start it off, and if the brother wants to join, that'll be fine. So it was I believe it was the day before Thanksgiving that he dropped the video. So you know, the video had came across me on Facebook, and I seen it, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm familiar with the artist Yellowpain. He's a conscious rapper. He makes meaningful, purposeful music, right? There's always a message in his music. And I kind of comparing to an artist that used to be on Voice Watkins' platform a lot named D1, right? I believe he was a school teacher. But you can tell that the brother Yellowpain makes music that's dear to him and things that's affecting his generation and affecting his community. If you scroll through his YouTube play, you'll see rap songs about people taking advantage of people in relationships, people dealing with substance abuse issues, people dealing with, you know, parenting issues, you know, the things that's near and dear to, you know, our hearts and our community. So when I seen this one, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, another video by the brother. You know, let me check it out. You know, at least give him a view. You know, good artist, he can rap. You know, there's a lot of rappers who can't rap. He's not one of them. You know, he can rap. He can put his words together. You know, so I listened to it, and you know, another thing you'll notice with his music is that it's very edgy, right? Like he always wants to get up in somebody's face and like really make a point. Like, you know, the shock value is always there. But on this one, I believe he took it up a level. And like you brothers already explained, it was offensive. So the video starts out, you have a family around the Thanksgiving table, and the grandma is at the head of the table, and they're saying a prayer. And one thing the grandmother says is like, y'all get in here and be thankful. I've been in this kitchen slaving all day. And I'm like, she used the word slave. So anyway, somebody's knocking at the door. And I believe it's the granddaughter. She looks like she's about 10 years old. She goes to the door. You remember, this is a Black family. I'm just going to presume it's a Freedmen family because this is America. Yep, so she goes to the door. Right before she can open up the door, boom. Yellowpain comes in dressed in pilgrim's garb, and there's two assailants. He has two accomplices with raccoon faces on. Another interesting dynamic. So they kick the door in, and like soon as he comes in, he shoots somebody and like splatters their blood on the turkey.
The mama. Shoot the mama in the side of the head.
Blood splatters on the turkey, right? So this is basically like we hear.
So that's
serious.
We hear that in the lyrics.
We need everybody to take this serious. And that's how the video starts. So I'm like, So I'm just, I'm watching the video, I'm listening to the video. I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. We get to the end of the video, he's waving the baby, and grandma is terrified, and her grandson is next to her. Then it's another still shot of her grandson as, murdered and blood splattered all across the wall. I'm like, this is interesting. And at it ends with something about Black people being able to cancel culture. So why don't we cancel culture, and stop?
He's saying we started cancel culture. So why don't, did I close the link? Why did I do that? Yeah, he said we started cancel culture, so why don't we cancel culture?
So just briefly, like the first time you listen to a rap song, it's just certain things you caught, right? So I caught a few things. I caught the POC word. I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. All right, a little POC language in there, little anti Thanksgiving in there, advocating for, what happened to the Native American. So I scrolled through the comment section, and I'm reading the comment section. There's a lot of affirmation about the video. And at this time, there's no pushback. It's always like, do your thing, King. This was a great video. Wake our people up. We really needed to hear this. Let's go. Somebody else said that's why they always fast on Thanksgiving. Normally when you look through a video of this magnitude as far as controversy go, you're looking to see those dissenting opinions. But all I think was affirmation. So I'm like, this is interesting. So I went to sleep. I didn't think nothing of it. And then I woke up the next day, and it was Thanksgiving, and there was conversations on Facebook about, should we celebrate Thanksgiving? Why some, quote unquote, Black people that still sleep celebrate Thanksgiving. And I'm like, so I go back to the video and I read more comments. And at this time, I'm like, it's just still on my brain. I didn't sleep on it. So I'm like, let me write an article, because I don't think we have enough information as a group to properly defend ourselves when somebody, comes and say, hey, why are you celebrating this white man's holiday? Or why are you celebrating these Western European culture, and participating in this stuff, right? Like, don't you got something better to do, my African brother? Like, no, shouldn't we be somewhere else doing something else? Why are you so Americanized? And I'm like,
we should be hunting gazelles.
Yeah, we should be doing
on the plains of the Serengeti with kilts on. Loincloths.
In one comment section, it was a brother that said, you can eat your turkey and have your day off, just don't eat it on Thursday. And I'm like, what type of logic? So the conversation was going on. So you know what?
I like Thursday.
I can't be everywhere and respond to everything. So I'm like, let me just write an article. Let me just put an article out there, right?
Great segue, bro. Why don't you get into that, man? Why don't you break down that information in the article while we still waiting for this brother? Because I don't know if he's coming or not. We got to keep it moving.
So the title of the article is "We Not Canceling Thanksgiving." I don't care what Yellowpain or any Confederate $5 Indian thinks, right? So we're gonna break this article down.
Before you do that, give people some context on who you're referencing when you speak about the $5 Indians, because I know there was a recent article that came out.
So when I'm referencing, so we're going to get into the article, and then you'll see some shots of like the $5 Indians that I'm referring to. But could you put up the chief of the $5 Indian, John Ross? Do you got a picture of John Ross?
Hold on. I have the Smithsonian article that I'm going to read from after this.
Click on Chief John Ross, and the picture of him will come up. It's a link that'll take you to an article that has a picture of.
Well, I'm gonna pull this one up right now. Hold
on. Like, soon as you scroll down in my article, there's a link to his picture.
But it still would have opened in another page.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna just pull this up real quick, because I'm gonna actually read from this page after this. So this is one of the depictions of John Ross. There are several of them. This is the Cherokee chief lionized. But let me show y'all the title of this article: How Native American Slaveholders Complicate the Trail of Tears Narrative. But we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Let's get back to,
and that's an important point to get to. That's the point of American history as it relates to our relationship to Native Americans that people don't talk about. Everybody talks about that my grandmother told me, my grandfather told me, my great-grandfather said this, or grandmother said that we was Cherokee. But a big part of the reason that they're saying that to you, which they're not telling you the whole truth, is that the Cherokees was probably the biggest slaveholding tribe in this country.
Facts.
Yeah, a lot of times your grandparents and all them people, they didn't know all that. You know, they didn't know all that. All they know is, yeah, you know, so-and-so, I'm talking about my family, right? My family, my grandmother grew up on a reservation in Oklahoma, and that's where her mama was. But none of my dad's siblings knew the history about Indian enslavement of our people, the freedmen. They don't know about none of those people know about what's going on today with the freedmen. They just you know, had an association with us and was thinking that we had some type of bloodline coming from some Indians, or the Native American tribes. I think it's Choctaw actually, but I took the DNA test. There wasn't a part of anything. It was like 0.3 you know, Asian Pacific Islander / Native American. So if this is somebody talking about my grandma, right, that should be a much higher percentage, you know, not a fraction of a percent. So I mean, I know that's anecdotal, but I'm just giving you an example of what he's talking about. So this is not just guesswork. This is actually lived experience in my family.
The DNA was done for my family as well. It's not there, bro. It's not there. Now, some people will argue, oh, they don't have enough DNA from Native Americans to truly compare us to them. But we do have phenotype. We don't look anything like them people. Not only do we not look anything like them people, we don't carry their culture. We don't carry their customs. We don't carry their gods and their religions. We don't carry their language. Okay, we don't carry any of that stuff. The only thing dudes run around doing is putting feathers and stuff on their head. But that's not real, right? You don't live with them. They don't claim you. You don't live on any of their land. They try to keep you out, just like Josh was saying earlier. You got freedmen still dealing with Jim Crow type policies and stuff like that, just trying to be citizens within those tribes.
Can't get citizenship, can't get access to healthcare, couldn't get COVID vaccines, can't get, you know, access to none of the inheritances that's over there, can't access land, you know, can't you know, they're guess what? They have casinos. Do you
That's
think
right. So
that
look,
those
man,
people
look,
are
look, look,
accessing
look.
that money?
We're gonna get to that. Let's get to that. Let's
Yeah,
let
yeah.
Ibrahim get in this article, and so we could just get into some more, because we want to start pulling up some of this stuff, and then we could have a conversation around it, and hopefully the brother will show up. So Ibrahim, did you want to share it from your page?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
All right.
Just what it said. So it starts off with the it starts off with a brief history lesson, right? Because like I felt from the conversations I was listening to, that's the quintessential thing that was missing, you know, was the history lesson, was, you know, and the framing of, you know, his story. Whose story are you telling, right? And I'm like, man, you know, to not celebrate Thanksgiving based off what Native Americans, I'll say $5 Indians think nowadays is, you know, paramount to Holocaust descendants not, you know, doing whatever they do based off the sentiments of the descendants from German Nazis, right? So I'm like, you know, I gotta frame this from a freedman's perspective, because like we're framing this wrong. And every time we get in these conversations with pretensions or people that think they from the plantation, is framed wrong. I mean, our miseducation is so bad, even the freedmen on reservations now think they a different group of people, not understanding they was just enslaved under a different tribe. So the article starts off, long before Cherokee Chief John Ross marched his black slaves on the Trail of Tears heading west. Right. Long before Native Americans fought with Confederates to keep the institution of slavery alive, long before the 5 civilized tribes were deeply committed to slavery, blacks celebrated the end of harvest season known as Thanksgiving. Right. The first slaves from Africa arrived in, you know, what we call America or United States of America in 1619. And by 1621, pilgrims started celebrating the end of harvest season, right? Thanksgiving comes from the end of harvest season. So we're talking about a holiday or a celebration, a celebratory thing that was started in 1621. So as soon as we get to this new America, we started celebrating the end of harvest season. Pilgrim's advancement in this new world was made possible by attaining education and life-sustaining gifts from those who knew the land best. The Wampanoag tribe is credited with helping pilgrims survive through the first 2 winters. Now, the Wampanoag tribe, and I'm probably butchering that name, but they were the first Native American tribe that seen the pilgrims be able to dock and get off the boats and set up camp and, you know, try to get acclimated to this new world. And if it wasn't for the help of this tribe and others, right, the pilgrims would have just died. And they would have had no problem. They would have been able to keep their land maybe for a few more decades or centuries or whatever have you. But they go and interfere. Now, this is what I mean. Our framing got to be right. You got to see this with your Freedmen lens. Because when you see these pilgrims get off the Mayflower, if that's what you believe, they have a group of distinct subjugated people. The Wampanoag tribe didn't come and help those captive Africans get free, right? They didn't come and help the black slaves. They came and helped the pilgrims. They came and helped the slave masters, right? So the first interaction that pilgrims had with Native Americans and that the African slaves or, you know, these people who was, you know, sold by West Africans into slavery, the first interaction they had with the Native American tribe was beneficial to the pilgrims, not to us, right? So our interaction with Native Americans started off on the wrong foot. You know, and I asked that question, you know, why the Native Americans assisted a savage group of people that arrived with a distinct group of subjugated people is beyond me. Later, these same pilgrims would slowly erode their dependent platonic relationship with the tribe, thus leading to pilgrim enslavement of Native Americans as well. So what you have is, and people seem to think like soon as the pilgrims got off the Mayflower or whatever boat they rode here on, they started to aggressively go after the Native Americans. No, they had platonic relationships with the Native Americans where they both benefited and traded and did barter and married into each other's families. That's how you get Cherokee Chief John Ross, right? You co-mingle, right? And after a few decades, the devilish pilgrims, just like they did, they said, you know what, we don't need these people anymore. They gave us their daughters. They gave us, chief positions in their tribe. They taught us how to toil the soil and farm, and they taught us how to survive the winter. And just like a devil do, right? You make a deal with the devil is always going to turn bad on you. So that deal turned bad with the Native Americans. Now you not only have I guess you would call them now Black American slaves, you have Native American slaves as well. And for 150 years, we shared that same fate with the Native American slaves, right? So maybe through proximity, does like Black slaves and Native American slaves become one? That's what you would think, right? Because we both subjugated by the same people. But nah, that didn't happen. That didn't happen as well. Ali, you want to jump in on this? Right? Because now you got, as the African slaves were sold to Europeans and brought to the new America, now you get more and more and more and more Black slaves. So, racism, white supremacy says, hey, we've been breeding with these Native Americans. They're getting lighter and lighter and lighter complexion, right? We'll start to release them and let them go, right? Because they seem to be more civilized the whiter they get. But these Black people, right, we're going to keep these Black people subjugated. But that wasn't good enough for the Native Americans. The Native Americans like, nah, we more civilized than you think. And they fought. They fought to become more civilized in the eyes of their captors, right? Like these are people that got off ships and within decades they had y'all enslaved. And now you want to prove that we're civilized to a group of savage people who just enslaved and raped and pillaged you. And what's the way that people, this is the foundations of white supremacy. If you want to prove you white, if you want to prove you're civil, if you want to prove you're acceptable in, this new America that was being formed at the time, what do? You become anti-Black. So now they start to have slaves.
And that still goes on
that
until this day.
That is the American way.
That is
to
the
be
American
anti-Black,
way.
and it's not just outsiders or foreigners who adopt this. It's our own people who adopt it and then turn around and make videos killing up Black families for celebrating or being thankful that they still have each other, being thankful that they're still able to fellowship, being thankful that they actually have food on the table to eat. You understand what I'm saying? That being thankful that in spite of everything that our people have gone through, we're still here. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here. We should be extinct based on the things that have happened. We shouldn't really be here, particularly in the numbers that we are. And being thankful for all of that stuff, somebody would concoct in their mind the idea that we need to make a video murdering these people for being thankful for still having each other in their lives and to be able to live and fight another day.
Talk to them.
So now we get into the 19th century, right? We're in the 19th century. The Native American institution of American racial slavery is bolstering. By 1860, Black American slaves accounted for 15% of the 5 major tribes, right? So you got the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Creek, and the Seminole. Slaves helped Native Americans move west. So, the thing they point to all the time is the Trail of Tears, the Trail of Tears, the Trail of Tears. We was oppressed on the Trail of Tears, and they made us move west, and they slaughtered us, and they was continuing to take our land. But what they don't say is, like, as we moved west, we took a group of subjugated Africans or a group of subjugated Black American slaves with us, right? Because we knew wherever we went, like, they were the people that was going to provide the labor to get us established in this land. And that's kind of erased from history, right? So as you being oppressed, you're oppressing, right? So, this take us to like a race hierarchy, right? yeah, you'd had to walk the Trail of Tears, right? But you wasn't the bottom caste, right? You know, and you can see white supremacy forming, right? Blacks are the bottom caste, right? You can't be here, you can be somewhere else. You still free, right? You still have, you know, room to maneuver enough to where you say, hey, I'm bringing my slaves along with me because I need a mule. I need somebody to provide the labor.
Yeah, a buffer from the bottom.
A buffer. Native Americans believed in the institution of slavery so much they fought alongside the Confederates to keep slavery alive and had to begin exclusionary treaties. They was given exclusionary treaties to end slavery, which they tried to continue past emancipation. So,
and let me say, Ibrahim, we're gonna when we get into that article, I'm gonna pull that up because what you have in this article, these are like bite-sized nuggets of a larger meal that you put together in this piece. Let me just repeat what you wrote here real quick. Native Americans believed in the institution of slavery so much they fought alongside Confederates to keep slavery alive and had to be given exclusionary treaties to end slavery, which they tried to continue past emancipation. We're going to get into that. Ain't Ice Cube, when he did his contract for Black America, he had Indians in it. When Joe Biden was asked about reparations for Black people, he said, well, what about the Indians? Our brother, Yellowpain, makes a video where he's bigging up the Indians being slaughtered, not knowing that they held thousands and thousands of our people in slavery. And in his video, he's slaughtering us. Not no more. We can't let this slide no more. Go ahead, bro. I had to interject.
So, and now we get to in October 1863, months after signing the Emancipation Proclamation earlier in the year, President Abraham Lincoln signed a proclamation to officially celebrate Thanksgiving nationally as a holiday. So you got these now freedmen, right? Once slaves, now freedmen, who's fighting in the Civil War, right? And you know, you got the North versus South, right? Union versus Confederate Army. And to like give these Black troops a boost, right? These new free slaves, like, hey, I'm going to give you a holiday, right? And I'm not just going to give you a holiday. I'm going to give you the holiday that you look forward to when you was in slavery, right? Because like this was the holiday for you, right? So he gives them, and this article gets into that. So Thanksgiving has historically been celebrated by Black Americans, right? And this is what I mean by us having this freedman framing, right? Thanksgiving has been historically been celebrated by Black American slaves and freedmen after emancipation. Thanksgiving for slaves marked the end of a tumultuous harvest season. So you got to understand, right? We was in the field picking the corn, picking the cotton, you know, doing all of the hard labor work. And when you survive at the end of the harvest season, it's like, yes, like it's over with. We got some time to like relax a little bit and let our hair down and be with family. Slave owners handed out passes, allowing captives to travel and see family members no longer in close proximity. The same way we get together, you know, this Thanksgiving, I seen my aunties, I seen my uncle, you know, family members I haven't seen the whole year, right? So it's still a tradition. Like,
that's right.
Back then on the plantation, you would get a pass to go to another plantation and see your wife, see your kids, see your brother, who you ain't seen the whole year. Don't even probably know if they alive, right? You just get a pass. I'm going over here. This is the one exception I get to the whole year to go see my family. The same way we doing it now. And we carry on this tradition. So anybody saying cancel Thanksgiving doesn't know the history.
That's right.
So it was also the first holiday freedmen celebrated after Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation. Confederates, now this is important, because we know the Native Americans fought with the Confederates to keep this institution of slavery going. They didn't want to let this up, right? They wanted their black mule. Confederates dismissed the new national holiday as abolitionist Yankee nonsense. So prior to it becoming a federal holiday, Confederates celebrated, right? Because they had their slaves, right? They had their slaves in the field. They had their slaves in the house. They were doing good. Then you get to the Civil War. Now they losing. They on the run. oh no, we not celebrating this stuff. We want to keep slavery, and that Union president then made this a federal holiday for all these new freedmen. We not celebrating it. So these same racist Confederates didn't acknowledge Thanksgiving as a national
Talk to
holiday
him, Ibrahim.
until they overthrew Reconstruction and the South rose again, giving these bigots something to be grateful for. Now think about this. Think about this. I'm not even going to speak on the white Confederates. So the Native Americans aligned with the Confederates to keep the institution of slavery going. They abandoned this tradition of practicing Thanksgiving because they felt they had nothing to be grateful for. They didn't have their slaves no more, right? And these new free people, this was their holiday, right? Meaning us. Now, these Native Americans who descended from these Native American Confederates is going to tell you, don't celebrate Thanksgiving because what happened to my people when they abandoned Thanksgiving because they couldn't keep your people in bondage. And you're going to listen to these people. Come on, man. You got to be nuts.
That's right.
All right. So, and like now we just get into the video, his video, which we already broke down. And so I'm not going to read this part. But this is all to say, like, if you had this history, right? If you had this history, you would have not made this video. This video is offensive, it's egregious, it's disrespectful to the ancestors. You know, just think like you laboring in a field, you know, 14, 17, 18 hours a day. You don't even know if you're going to make it to the end of harvest season. You finally make it to the end of the harvest season and you got something to be thankful and you don't have much, right? Like if you read Booker T. Washington book, like he talks about his brother breaking in this wool shirt, right? So we don't have much to be thankful for, but what we do have is if you make it to the end, you have family, right? And this is the time to go rejoice and fellowship and see your family, right? And be able to eat, right? Those in the house ate better than those outside, but still, you know, be able to eat, right? Come together as one, right? And now you got somebody telling you because what happened to and somebody got on a post and said there was over 500 tribes, right? Because somebody might bring this up tonight. There was over 500 tribes, and it's documented that only a few tribes own slaves, right? Well, I'll tell you this. Only about 1% of whites own slaves, but they all benefited from the institution of slavery. See, when you see the what's that group of there's a tribe, Ho Chung or Ho Chunk, right? And they own all these casinos in the in western Wisconsin, right? And when you graduate, there's a cycle of things you got to go through to prove you're part of the tribe. But upon graduation, you get like maybe a couple $100,000 or something like this, right? So the same way white people inherit our ancestors' hard work and they get to pass it down and become Paris Hilton and run around and just squander the wealth, right? While we sit in ghettos and be poor. This is the same thing certain Native American tribes is doing, right? Never should we ever, we don't owe Native Americans anything, right?
That's right.
But if you wanted to be correct, what we do owe them, they don't want. What we really owe them, they do not want, right? So it's blasphemous for like Biden to try to anchor them into a reparations conversation. Minister Louis Farrakhan tried to anchor them into the Million Man March and tried to say, we trying to get what the government owes you. When you get what the government owes you, we should come and take it from you. You know what I'm saying? Why should we care if both of our oppressors' treaty broke down and they got mad at each other and one got slaughtered? The silver lining in that is what freedom slaves was able to like wiggle their way out of slavery between that and get free.
That's right.
We was able to use that descent between the North and the South and the Native American tribes and get into a place where we can get free. I just don't understand from a logical perspective. And I know this brother does his research because he's not just out rapping about guns and pills and Louis Vuitton, but it's just I don't see where he came from.
The problem with Afrocentricity and all of those different doctrines. Go ahead, Brother Ali. And
he
Brother
didn't
Logic
research
is in the
this.
building as well. Jump
Peace,
in
yeah,
at any
peace, brother
time.
Logic. Yeah, he didn't research this particular
Yeah, he
subject.
did no
He
research
kind of
on
just
this.
going off of the narrative of the whole Afrocentrism, like you said, but we want to anchor in and tie in, you know, these other groups. And a lot of it too, like we said, goes back to the fact that we heard all of these things from our grandma, from our grandfathers, aunts and uncles, that, you know, why your hair is like this, because, you know, you got Cherokee in you. That's why your hair is like that. You understand what I'm saying? So we heard all that kind of stuff growing up and believe it. But we in the age of information now, so we can actually research this stuff. We can actually do the genealogical breakdowns. Like back in the days when Alex Haley had to do it, he had to do a lot of footwork. Now we got Ancestry.com. We got access to census records. We got access to the Freedmen Bureau records. We got access to vital statistics, all kinds of different things to let us know and to help us along the way in terms of tracing our lineage. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a different time and a different era. So a lot of that pseudo, you know, fake kind of like hand-me-down information coming from grandma and grandpa who didn't understand that their grandmothers and grandfathers were slaves of the Cherokee and slaves of the Choctaw. Now we understand it better. We have a better eyeball on the whole situation.
And we gotta get rid of this stuff, family. That's why this platform, that's why tonight's show is so necessary. Brother Logic, what you got to add, brother?
All right. Well, I would like to say this. It's very interesting. Y'all was breaking it down the whole entire time, as per usual. But what's even more, a great job on that article, Brother Ibrahim. That was outstanding. But what is, I think when we go a little bit deeper, we find out things are even worse than they seem on the surface. So what you have to understand is what we're talking about, a specific group of Indians. Like, I don't even like calling them Indians, but for the sake of shared understanding, I'm gonna call them Indians, right? So these Wampanoags, right, that Ibrahim was talking about, that he looked like your twin right there, boy. And so like the Wampanoags, right? When the Mayflower and whatnot got here, slavery had already been a well-practiced institution in this land. It wasn't no strange thing to them. You had several different instances, and then I'm going to back it up with some sources because that's what we do, right? And so slavery was running rampant in America before the specific group of pilgrims that this whole fuss is about even got here. The Indians knew well of slavery, and they knew about African slaves. You had some Indians being kidnapped and forced into slavery, going to the West Indies. So slavery was going on in America as an institution of well before Jamestown, right? And so when the Wampanoags had known slavery, right? Let's go to some scholarship real quick. I want y'all to see this before we go further, right? Check out this. Let me share this real quick. Let's talk about it, because everybody's all been out of shape about the Indians all the goddamn time, and I don't understand like why the hell everybody get bent out of shape of them, but nobody gets bent out of shape for us, and no one even holds. It's like the Indian story, like they can do no wrong. They get the ultimate sad story. Like they forget, or they were never taught. But if we go and share the screen, right? Do I need to blow it up?
Blow your brows up a little bit, bro.
All right, hold on. Let me get to it. Is that a little better?
Oh yeah, much. Well, it'll probably look better on a YouTube video.
All right,
but we could see it though.
All right, so this is from, right, these this is like inspired by, this is a sympathetic Indian article, but watch how they tell on themselves. If you use a little logic and critical thinking, you can see what's going on here. It says how the Mayflower arrived in a world already scarred by slavery. It says when the Mayflower arrived in America, History often records the event as a ship arriving in a new world, but these shores were not new. The colonists aboard the Mayflower were stepping foot on lands that had been home to people for centuries. They were also not the first Europeans to make the journey. Jamestown was one of several established settlements in Virginia by the winter of 1620. Records show that by that year, the Virginia colony was already involved in bringing African slaves to America. So we got to already see what's going on here. So they know these people coming here are slavers. They not ignorant of the fact that this is their business when they get here, but they help them and they nourish them and all this bullshit anyway. But we supposed to cry for them, right? When the Mayflower set sail from its final departure point in Plymouth in September 1620, it set a course for Virginia, its intended destination to build a colony. The ship was voyaging to a place already engaged in slavery. You understand? Already engaged in slavery. And its eventual destination of modern day Massachusetts was one that had experienced the cruel abduction of the indigenous population to sell as slaves. European sailors had already landed at the settlement of the Patuaux people, whatever their name is, the land of the Mayflower's passengers eventually settled on and built Plymouth. Those European sailors had abducted members of the indigenous population of Native Americans in the years previous with the intention of selling them as slaves. So we dealing with a stupid people, right? This is the stupid people. While the Mayflower's passengers did not bring slaves on their voyage or engage in a trade as they built Plymouth, it should be recognized, right? The journey took place at a time when ships were crossing the Atlantic to set up colonies in America that would become part of the transatlantic slave operation. The passenger may not have had a direct hand in the birth of slavery in America, but they became part of the world scarred by slavery. And so I'm just going to stop where we don't have to read that. I want to talk about why are so many people crying about these fools. You understand? The article states that they were trading them before the Plymouth get here. And you got to understand, these Plymouth Rock pilgrims are the ones everybody's that yellow whatever is want to kill the whole entire black family because of what happened to these handful of white pilgrims that came here. All right. When slavery was running rampant, they was throwing the indigenous groups into slavery. They were bringing African slaves over here. Like these people from England were coming over here, getting it popping, doing what they do. And the Wampanoags and all of these other Indians, they knew it. They seen it. They seen it in Florida when Spain was bringing them over here before the English got over here, right? It was all running rampant through Spanish Florida. It was running rampant all up here. And like the article just said, there was English voyages who came up here and settled before the Mayflower got here, and they did bring slaves. And not only that, they kidnapped Indians there, Wampanoags as well, and forced their ass into slavery too. And then you still have a story where these ships come over here and they're not met with bows and arrows, but they're met with hugs and love and saving white folks from the cold, and teaching them how to farm
peace
and
pipes and
yeah, that's the type of relations. These are the people I'm supposed to be sad for.
I'm supposed to be sad for them? Never.
Yeah, that's madness. That's
Never.
madness. That's madness. That's like, and then when you find out all of this, and even if you're ignorant of all of this, you look at how stupid the video was set up. The man goes in here and executes the black family. Not the pilgrim lineage. He doesn't go get the descendants of the pilgrims and massacre them and say, why'd y'all do that to these goddamn Indians? He kills up his own fucking people and say that we deserve to be massacred at the Thanksgiving table while we just trying to be a family and hold on to whatever we have in America that we got. He goes and dresses like the pilgrims, has his homeboys with raccoon mask on. I guess they supposed to be coons, right? Symbolizing that Thanksgiving is some coon shit if you celebrate it, right? And they go in there and they kill the grandma, they kill the black babies, they kill every goddamn body in there. And then he sits down and tries to chastise the black public. Who in the hell told, like, this is when you know you don't have no good people around you. Nobody said, hey, bro, this, like the director, the producer, everybody that was involved in that ain't shit in my book.
That's a fact.
You understand? Y'all ain't shit. And this is why, because like Ibrahim and Ali and Naheem and them were explaining, Thanksgiving was something that our freedmen ancestors, right, cherished, because that was the only one of the only times they had to be family, to actually do family shit, and to take a break from the crack of the whip. And then you've been out here working as a slave all this time, and now the last harvest is finally in. Your workload kind of decreased a little bit because the demand in the field ain't there no more. And so now we really have things to be thankful for. We have, I don't know if Yellowtail or whatever his name is has anything to be thankful for. But like Ibrahim and was already explaining prior to my coming on, the harvest celebration and Thanksgiving was something that was celebrated long before this little massacre happened, this little mishap with these red devils and the white devils. You understand? And this little mishap happened is something. So you want to throw away the entire meaning of Thanksgiving, what it meant to us. You understand? You want us to throw that away for what happened to a handful of pilgrims? Man, get the hell out of here, man.
So look,
That's
I want to, man. All right, because there's two places I want to go. So I'm gonna go because it's both points you were making was so vital when they segue into two things that I want to get into. But it's a bunch of us on tonight, so I'm gonna go one step at a time. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into how slaves spent Thanksgiving. All right, I'll be brief. This is what I'll do. I'll be brief, and then I'll let y'all go in. This is from the Tennessee Tribune. How slaves spent Thanksgiving Day might surprise you, by Jay Jones. African Americans have long embraced the tradition of honoring Thanksgiving. Even during slavery time, Africans took time to be thankful for what they had, which of course was not much. In 1777, when the Continental Congress delivered a decree for the 13 colonies to give thanks for reaching a victory over the British at Saratoga, the Africans also took part in the celebration throughout the region. And the tradition continued as a custom of rejoicing for rain to break droughts and plenty of harvest. So what did the slaves eat on this day? The slaves who worked in the fields would often go out and catch wild game for their family and close slave friends. The women would prepare cornmeal cakes or pone cakes to go along with the game. The house slaves had it better than the field slaves. Of course, we know that. House slaves feasted on the leftovers from the main house after the slave owners finished their meals. This is the key point in this article. A forgotten fact: Thanksgiving started off as a church-oriented celebration for the Black community. African-American pastors often gave sermons that could be heard loud and clear through the small Black churches. The sermons would be about struggles, hopes, fears, and triumphs. The sermons usually grieved the institution of slavery, the suffering of the Black people, and often pleaded for that an awakening of a slave-free America would someday come soon. African Methodist Episcopalian cleric Reverend Benjamin Arnett stirred a predominantly Black congregation on November 30th, 1876 with his biblically inspired words. We call on all American citizens to love their country and look not on the sins of the past, but arming ourselves for the conflict of the future, girding ourselves in the, I've never heard this word, so bear with me, habiliments of righteousness, march forth with the courage of a Numidian lion and with the confidence of a Roman gladiator, and meet the demands of the age and satisfy the duties of the hour. They were talking about the true American citizens getting involved in us being freed as, because we were slaves and we needed the citizenry from the North especially to help us in the South because, well, in the North, our people were free in those states. I didn't say we had it any better, but we weren't slaves up there. It says, then let the grand centennial Thanksgiving songs be heard and sung in every house of God. So basically, this Thanksgiving thing, the way it's celebrated by everybody, and Ibrahim brought up how the Confederates disavowed it. right? For the people saying it's a white man's religion. They disavowed the thing. It wasn't until after the Civil War they picked it back up. But that was based off of the patterns that we were already setting. This article talks about how Lincoln in 1863 signed the proclamation of National Thanksgiving Day. Well, we were already creating what Thanksgiving would be, particularly for black families, well before 1863. Let me put that link in the chat. Y'all know how we do. And y'all touch on that, and I want to get to one more thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you read that before I saw this comment, because it's perfect to comment on this now that you've read that. What Thanksgiving means to us. Look at this. Saul Sinatra says, so since Indians,
that's
slave owners.
But go ahead.
Huh?
I said that's a troll, but go ahead.
Oh.
No, go ahead though. I
is
mean,
it like not a real person? But some people think like this. So even this person is, even if they're like a weirdo, right?
It helps everybody
whatever.
else.
A lot of people, yeah, it still helps everybody else. So even when y'all trying to be like disruptive, you're still providing quality education, because there's a lot of idiots just like you out here. And so since Indian slave owners existed, then celebrated a holiday that perpetrates a genocide, it's okay for us. I'm gonna deal with this first part, and then he doubles, whoever this is, double down on extra. They're trying to reach ultimate stupidity, right? And so first and foremost, since Indian slave owners existed, then celebrated a holiday that perpetrates. First of all, you didn't pay attention to nothing that just was talked about. We talked about what Thanksgiving means. Thanksgiving is about honoring the harvest, being thankful for the good yield, and being with your family and things of that nature. It was that well before them little Plymouth Rock pilgrims got wiped out, right? And that's between them and that's between a specific group of pilgrims and a specific group of Indians.
That's right.
This, now, out of that, something that has been going on for centuries before this happened, even in Africa, you got agricultural societies who have a similar celebration at the end of the harvest, right? Everybody who understands nature and understands reciprocity and the benefits of closing out a good harvest season has some sort of celebration. This has always been going on. So now what you do is you say, fuck all of that. It's a white man's holiday. All you know how to do is give the white man and white supremacy more and more power.
Talk to him.
That's all you do. You said, no, forget all of that stuff. This has to be a white man's holiday, right? And so even though we've showed you clearly that it's not, you still say it perpetrates a genocide. So now Thanksgiving is dwindled down to this specific incident with a handful of pilgrims and a handful of Wampanoags. Now you said, forget everything else. This is what Thanksgiving is. You have done the legwork of white supremacy, my man. Right? So you're telling, and then now let's get to the double stupid, a double scoop of stupid. Why not celebrate it on Friday? What the fuck difference do that make if it's Thursday or Friday? And you got to know that the massacre the Thanksgiving can't have nothing specifically to do with that particular massacre, because massacres don't rotate every calendar year. They happen on one day, and that's the day that it just stays on, because that's the day that it happened. But Thanksgiving is on the last Thursday of every Thanksgiving. And there's a few reasons for that. I ain't gonna break it down. You got to do some research yourself, right? But there's a reason for that. And so it cannot be hooked in to that particular massacre. And it's not about celebrating nowhere in any Thanksgiving. See, people, this is another thing Naheem was talking about. This is the result of bad Afrocentric scholarship, right? Because now every even though you never see anybody celebrating the massacre of the Indians, you say that that's what this holiday is about. Where is that celebrated? Nobody is celebrating that, bro. Nobody. Nobody's celebrating. The Wampanoags are basically an extinct people. There's still some descendants sprinkled throughout America, but there's them as a tribe doesn't exist anymore. Those handful of pilgrims, you'll be hard pressed to find too many of their descendants out here, right? And so who is celebrating that? Nobody's celebrating. Everybody is celebrating the festivities that are centered around family congregation. That's what everybody's doing. And y'all are being the nutcases of society who are promoting this craziness, man. Nobody's promoting that. And every Thanksgiving, we got to deal with this. And you're supposed to be exercising love with your people. You're supposed to exercise love with your people. So because you think you're woke, and this is the problem with wokeness, right? These fake black woke niggas, man. So now you want to say because you got this pseudo knowledge and this pseudo scholarship from Young Pharaoh or Polite or one of these other goofballs on Sanetta's channel, right? You want to get that, and now you say fuck your grandma and your mom because everybody else ain't as woke as you, right? You the woke nigga in the family. So now you ostracize your family from your fake wokeness, and earlier. You won't even come through and fellowship with your kin.
That's bull crap logic. That's bull crap. What they call him? He gonna come downstairs and get a plate. Stop.
Oh, yeah. Haru's definitely coming.
I wish I had that meme. I wish I had that meme, man. I was looking for it. I got it somewhere.
That's crazy.
Haru be talking crazy, but he coming down to get a plate.
Get that. What the meme said, we thought you would never come out there.
Yo, that is the funniest joint ever, bro. That is the funny Hero. It's okay. You can get a plate.
You can come get this plate, Haru. All right, look. I want to do one more thing, and I'm gonna let y'all go in, man. I want to do one more.
Who is the absolute runaway slave? That's interesting.
The apostate runaway slave. Something one of them
apostate.
Another one of them goofies that's probably related to the other goofy you was just addressing. So look,
I don't think so.
No?
Let me see who that is.
Man. He said you cannot keep putting up with nonsense just because you want to eat some turkey. He said we can't leave the turkey behind. I don't eat turkey. So I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's get these clowns out of here. All right, so let's do this real quick. I want to run through this real quick, and we're gonna finish digging in.
Man, okay, I had that one. I was gonna pull that up as soon as I get back to the computer. Yeah, is that the Al Jazeera joint?
No, this is from the Smithsonian.
Oh, okay, all right.
How Native American slaveholders complicate the Trail of Tears. So what I did was screenshot it, the article that I pulled up earlier. I put the link in the chat. So this shows the house of Choctaw. This is the big house, y'all. The slave master's house, the Indian slave master house. Choctaw Chief Greenwood LaFleur had 15,000 acres of Mississippi land. And this was his home, and had 400 enslaved Africans under his dominion. Our people, family, our ancestors. It says, when you think of the Trail of Tears, you likely imagine a long procession of suffering Cherokee Indians forced westward by a villainous Andrew Jackson. Perhaps you envision unscrupulous white slaveholders whose interest in growing a plantation economy underlay the decision to expel the Cherokee, flooding in to take their place east of the Mississippi River. What you don't picture are Cherokee slaveholders, foremost among them Cherokee Chief John Ross. What you probably don't picture are the numerous African-American slaves, Cherokee-owned, who made the brutal march themselves or else were shipped en masse to what is now Oklahoma aboard cramped boats by their wealthy Indian masters. So we had to come over, what is it called? The Middle Passage on a slave ship, then on the way on the to the what is it called? The Trail of Tears, we got shipped up in some other ships. We got the Indians put us in slave ships. See, this is not spoken about, Yellowpain, but you bigging them people up. The people of color coalition. Them people are not our friends, brother. It continues. And you may not know, and what you may not know is that the federal policy of Indian removal, which ranged far beyond the Trail of Tears and the Cherokee, was not simply the vindictive scheme of Andrew Jackson, but rather a popularly endorsed, congressionally sanctioned campaign spanning the administrations of 9 separate presidents. You know, they try to just make it seem like it was just this one Confederate right-wing thing. No, this thing was congressionally approved as well. The article's writer says, the article's speaking to the person they're interviewing, I used to like history, Smith told the crowd ruefully, and sometimes I still do, but not most of the time. Most of the time, history and I are frenemies at best. In the case of the Trail of Tears and the enslavement of blacks by prominent members of all 5 so-called civilized tribes, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole, Smith went one step further, likening the ugly truth of history to a mangy, snarling dog standing between you and the crowd-pleasing narrative. I got Indian in my family. Obviously, Smith said, the story should be, needs to be, that the enslaved black people and soon to be exiled red people would join forces and defeat their oppressor. That's the narrative he's talking about, the crowd-pleasing one. But such was not the case. Far from it. The quote-unquote 5 civilized tribes were deeply committed to slavery, established their own racialized black codes, immediately reestablished slavery when they arrived in Indian territory, rebuilt their nations with slave labor, crushed slave rebellions, and enthusiastically sided with the Confederacy in the Civil War. What is wrong with our people? If you didn't know, you know now. What they said, you're going to learn today. I want to run through these real quick. So there's much ado in the news about black folk being rejected by the Biden administration. I got your back. Black America has come through for me, and I'm going to come through for you all. I got your back. They've done everything for everybody.
Hold on,
Asian hate crime bills.
You talked about blacks being on the Trail of Tears heading west and being established in Oklahoma, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about Greenwood, Oklahoma. How do we get to Tulsa to establish a black town? It was through persecution of being subjugated by the Native Americans. That's
right.
how all this stuff started.
That's
and
right.
Also, I don't think people understand the length of time that's between the initial Thanksgiving and all of the Thanksgivings or the end of the harvest that was celebrated. And when the Native Americans and the Pilgrim relationships eroded and they started to get slaughtered. We were celebrating Thanksgiving before Indians or Native Americans started to get slaughtered. And we've been celebrating Thanksgiving after. We would before.
I hope you listening, Yellowpain.
So why would we stop anything?
That's right.
We were doing this before and we doing this after. We're not stopping anything because your relationship with your oppressor best friend eroded and they turned on you, right?
That's right. I just want to run through this and that's it. This New York Times, and we pulled the actual article up from the Bureau of Indian Affairs several times. Tribal communities set to receive big new infusion of aid. President Biden $1.9 trillion relief package provides $31 billion for tribal nations and indigenous people to address long-standing problems like poor health care. Oh, black health care is the worst in this country. There's whole books written about about how blacks are treated in the healthcare industry. And I know one of our bright people in the chat know the title of that. They'll throw it in there if one of the panel don't know it. Whole books written about the genocide we face and still do. Black women, I think 3 or 4 times more likely to die giving birth than white women. Why is that? Why? Because of poor health care. But every time they do something, every time they pass money for everybody, they make sure everybody else gets something and we don't get nothing but a middle finger and a shab and somebody yelling at us, telling us, y'all make sure y'all vote for us, and getting black women to deceiving black women into believing they're carrying the elections and saving the elections when black women and black men vote damn near at the same clip. And the population shows that there's more black women, 5 to 3, than there are black men. Executive order, hold on. This is from the White House's page. This was just passed November 15th. An executive order on improving public safety and criminal justice for Native Americans and addressing the crisis of missing or murdered indigenous people. They have whole documentaries up talking about missing black women, especially crime, public safety. Hold on, I got one more thing to pull up. One more thing, because we got to show our brother Yellowpain that he's fighting the wrong fight. He's fighting for the wrong people. He's supposed to,
Man,
his message is supposed to be Freedmen centered, not those people centered.
Yellowpain came and shotgun down the black family. He don't care about health care.
Yeah, you're right.
Let me just gun you down.
He don't care, but you're
right
about
Thanksgiving. That's crazy.
Let me just, I'm done after this. Hate crime reports in U.S. surged to the highest level in 12 years, FBI says. I think the original headline of this CNN article said African Americans lead in hate crimes against in this country. And we've been the leaders in that statistic year after year after year. But notice the picture CNN decides to use. Stop Asian hate. Why would it highlight Stop Asian hate when that spike because of COVID caused by Trump's and the Republicans' rhetoric? Yeah, they got a little bump, and we're not saying anybody should be hating on anybody. Ain't nobody saying that. We just saying we tired of being hated on and being ignored and these people getting highlighted. So let's go through it. Let me see, because I just want to get to the juicy part. Here we go.
Any hate
attacks
but Freedmen hate. I said they want to put an end to all hate except for Freedmen hate.
That's
hate
right.
The Freedmen.
That's
hate
right.
Black folks.
That's right.
Don't fuck with the Asians.
It says attacks targeting Black people rose to 2,871 from 1,972. That is one of the largest jumps, and our people are number one on that list. It says the data released on Monday showed that bias against African Americans overwhelmingly comprised the largest category of reported hate crime offenses pertaining to race, with the total of 56% of those crimes motivated by anti-Black or African American bias. And yet this brother makes a video slaughtering a family for celebrating Thanksgiving. You just gave them people more reason to commit hate crimes against us, brother, and get away with it, because they know that they can use people like you as a buffer to come in and just put out another rap video to take our minds off the center focus of our issues and our pain that has been going on since the times of slavery. You're rapping about the wrong stuff. I don't know if this brother Yellowpain is a Freedman descendant. Let me put this link in the chat as well. Oh, real quick, I got the FBI file pulled up. Hate crimes against, right? 1.1% were American Indian or Alaska Native. 1.1%. Remember, Blacks was 56%. Joe Biden signs an executive order on improving public safety and criminal justice for Native Americans and addressing the crisis of missing or murdered indigenous people. What the hell is going on? What is wrong with us as a people that we would make videos talking about the slaughter of former slave masters of our people and not speak to the plight of our people and then show our people being slaughtered because they celebrate a holiday that was being celebrated before the damn pilgrims even got over it. Man, listen.
Man, it's crazy.
Man,
Where's Yellow Man?
Man, I was gonna say, because he send you a DM asking him to get him on when we came on.
He hit me back. I told him, I sent him a message. I said, look, we're gonna run through our spiel, and then because we have to respond, then we'll allow you to come on. He said, no, I would rather come on before you make your point, which I thought was odd, but everybody agreed. And the brother is obviously watching. And we said, brother, come on, because we can do this in real time. And the brother didn't come on. So,
man, you know what? Damn, it's a one piece that a couple of things I wanted to say. Unfortunately, he didn't agree to come on. But I had a couple of questions for him. One I would ask is, why, for the sake of your imagery and for your messaging, did you feel it was okay to show you shooting a Black family and murdering Black families, men, women, and children, but to get your message across? But would you have still done that to a white family? Would you still done that to an Asian family?
How about Jews? Let's make
would
it
you
tough.
Still done that to a Jewish family?
That's
Jews,
right.
Let's
make it tough. That's right, Jews.
Yeah. Would you have done that
to an LGBTQ family?
Yeah. Would you have done that to LGBTQ?
You think he would have shot the yarmulke off somebody's head?
No, he wouldn't have.
He
But
would
you gonna
not.
go
So why
shoot
in
Granny
the world
and put
do
her
you think that
brains
it's
on the
okay? The group that got the highest amount of violent crimes that happened against them, the highest amount of hate crimes. Why would you put out imagery showing us getting brutally killed in the same light that Dylan? I mean, this is like you said. You were right, brother Naheem, when you equated it to the Dylan Roof murder, because I mean, this is like one of the times people are like, this is like the most one of the most cherished times with family and with loved ones, where people feel open, they feel they are exposed. People just, it's just a time of love, similar to when people are praying in church. Basically the family was praying at the table.
Right.
So you did the same thing that Dylan Roof did. They said, let us pray, and you said, let us spray. You did the same thing.
Come on, bro.
So let me. I just want to read this article. Let me know if I need to zoom in a little bit. Can y'all see it? Okay.
I think that's cool.
All right. So I just want to echo this point, because a lot of people will say, well, only 1% of America owns slaves. Well, let's put that in perspective, right? Because that's a common statement coming from neo-Confederates and people that's ignorant on the history. And that is, yes, you can say 1.4% of the total population owns slaves. But then I think, because many of they always base it on 1860, because that's the latest census before emancipation. But then you got to think about, like, okay, there was already abolition of pretty much the majority of the northern states. So that all the slavery, not all of it, but the vast majority was concentrated in the southern states. So then look at the southern states, and it's like, okay, well, there was a high amount of slave ownership. And will people say, well, most of the slaves were, most people didn't own slaves, yes, but most people did. A lot of people did live in slave-holding families. And I was looking at a statistic. It was I don't want to bring it up here because there'll be too many screens to switch back and forth from. But it was on a Duke University Social Equity. That's Dr. Darry's program, and they were saying that their levels of slave ownership were anywhere between 20%. We're talking about not if you personally owned a slave, but were you a part of a slave holding family. See, if your daddy owns a slave and you got your kids living at your daddy's on your daddy's plantation, you got your own house living on the property, you got your your family and your siblings, all them people, but your daddy's the one who's the property owner. Yes, he might be the only technical slave owner, right? You might get 1 or 2 when you get married, but he might have 500. So those 5, you don't get to be counted. No, you get to be counted because you still benefiting off of all that. You benefiting off of wealth. You benefit off of that servitude. So you got to include the families. And in that article, it was saying it was anywhere from between 20% of white, 20% of white folks own slaves, all the way up to, in South Carolina, it was over 50% of white families had slave ownership. Now let's look at this article about the Native American slave ownership. It says in 1860, about 30 years after their removal to Indian territory from their respective homes in the Southeast, Cherokee Nation citizens owned 2,511 slaves, 15% of their total population. Choctaw citizens owned 2,349 slaves, 14% of their total population. Creek, 1532, 10% of their population. Chickasaw citizens owned 975 slaves, which amounted to 18% of their total population, a proportion equivalent to that of white slave owners in Tennessee, a former neighbor of the Chickasaw Nation and a large slave-holding state. This made the Chickasaws the largest slave-holding nation of the 5 tribes in proportion to their population. National laws restricted the movement of enslaved people, preventing them from learning to read and write, and prohibiting interracial relationships. However, it says, and that this article goes on to say, however, as in the U.S., the majority of the people in these nations did not own slaves. But that was kind of what I wanted to push back on was, there people will make that claim, not a lot own slaves, but we talking about families, not did you personally own them. That's kind of how they get away from that metric. So again, brother Yellowpain, I'm gonna exit this screen share. Why is it that you felt comfortable with making that type of imagery? And you thought that I mean, that's okay. That's something like if you're making music and you have a message that's trying to uplift your community, that's trying to uplift our folks, why would you show that type of imagery? And here's another part, right?
And you know,
we have
Josh,
been constantly trying to fight against
Josh.
Huh?
Look, real quick, and I want you to finish, but I just pulled this video up. I mean, this article up. Man accused of stabbing mother to death appears in court. Right? This Georgia man he stabbed his mother to death on Thanksgiving, right? So, I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, that Yellowpain video dropped before Thanksgiving. And I wouldn't dare say that the two things have anything to do with each other, but it makes you go, right? Because this ain't something that black people just go around doing, stabbing up their mothers on Thanksgiving. They're happy to be there with their mothers. And he's throwing up some devilish sign, right? So it's like, you know, man, I don't know. I wouldn't dare just say that, yeah, this man did this because of that, but who the hell knows? Who knows?
Yeah. The point I wanted to end real quick was, you know, I remember when the brother made the couple videos talking about voting, right? And I thought that was overall, you know, with some parts that I thought was problematic, particularly dealing with Obama and all of that. But I thought overall was a good message. You know, I thought it was overall good content. And like Ibrahim was saying, you know, he tends to try to make thoughtful music that's was seemingly, you know, trying to generate a positive outcome in his eyes. So, you know, but when I look at what this video is doing, it's way overboard. And part of what it does is it you know, there's a fight. You know, people always say when we start talking about our claim as far as justice and what we've been through, people always try to like throw this thing at us saying, well, we doing the oppression Olympics, right? We don't want to do the oppression Olympics. But you know, it's a reason why nobody wants to run against like the Kenyan runners in East Africa, because they win every time. They win when them long distance running, they win in them joints almost every time. So they don't want to get in they don't want them in the Olympics. They don't want to even have those type of races. So there's a reason why people don't want to do the whole oppression Olympics with us, because we got the most superior claim, because we done been through the most, we made the most contribution, we've been here the longest, and we're owed the most, right? However, so I'm saying all that to say, when you're doing all this stuff to try to bring our claim back down and try to put some fake guilt on us, while we're not standing in solidarity with people who that groups who were known for enslaving us, you know, and fighting against us in the Civil War, for groups that are still oppressing the freedmen in their particular tribes. What you're trying to do is you're trying to fold us back into BIPOC, in the term BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, when we're trying to fight to have delineation. We don't belong in no group with nobody else, right? We don't belong in no BIPOC and none of that. No, we don't belong in that. Why don't we belong in that? Because we're the only one. We're the only groups that's non-immigrants. You know, we're not immigrants. We're original Americans here. We were not brought via immigration. We're the only group that has a claim for being enslaved. We're the only group that fought. We've been here as long as we fought in the Civil War. Like, you cannot package us in with all that. We have the most superior justice claim. And when you talking about, what you're doing is you're putting us in the BIPOC, and that pretty much neuters our politics. You're just neutering our politics when you do that. So I don't know if people see that, but trying to put us Black put us back down, black and this. No, we got this. We got the superior claim. We don't need to try to fold and give away our claim to everybody else and come down and fight for everybody else. Well, we ain't even got nothing. You're making it to where like you can't even do black politics, man, at all. So I mean, that's kind of what I saw from this situation.
Oh yeah.
Logic was about to say something.
Yo, we gotta deal. I love these chats, man. We gotta deal. I love when stuff comes out in the chat. We get to deal with it in real conversation. So 3 comments real quick. Tara Sin, first of all, dope avatar. People probably don't know who that is, but I know who that is. I think that's pretty dope. You chose that to be your avatar. However, let's answer some of these questions. Why can't people express themselves the way they want? I believe that race traitors should be removed from Black society, and some people get upset about that. Well, I think that you can't make this type of comparison. So if you're saying celebrate, unless you're saying celebrating Thanksgiving is equal to being a race traitor, whatever that may mean. What, like, you gotta give me some examples of what a race traitor is, right? And so if you think celebrating Thanksgiving, spending time with your family, is equal to being a race traitor, then I think we have to look into why, like, what's going on there.
That's a bad comparison.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
Yeah, it's a terrible. Yeah.
Put more time into these thoughts, right? It says, and it's not about how you express yourself. When you express yourself and you make it a public thing, you open yourself up to scrutiny and opinions of the public. So that opprobrium is yours. You earned that opprobrium, right?
It's a fact.
You can't be an artist and put your art out there and think that critique is not coming. In the
Facts.
public, we're the consuming market. We have to critique. Or other words, just saying, you as an artist can feed us whatever you want and we'll consume it. No, the critiques of the public help refine the artist. Without public criticism, there is no refinement in the subject matter of art and being artistic. There's no artistic value if everything just gets a pass. It can't be enhanced because everything is accepted. So no, that's why things get rejected out of the artistic community all the time. They'd be like, no, this doesn't fit the bill. We won't even call it art. You know what I'm saying? So when people call themselves artists nowadays and they put out consumable images and information from everybody to like the young babies to the elderly, these can be seen. These images can be seen. And there's no explanation before the video comes on explaining what the political intent or whatever the fuck you got going on. There is no explanation before or after video goes off. So people are just left there with the terrible imagery of the black man coming in, slaughtering the black family.
Chasing the little girl with a shotgun, bro.
Chasing the little girl with the shotgun. What does that have to do with being upset about a handful of Wampanoags getting slaughtered by their foolishness on saving already, known slavers or who come from a slave country? Why in the hell would y'all help them survive and heal them up just so they can do something? And now we're all supposed to throw celebrating with our families away because you're upset about what a handful of Wampanoags got. They got what they had coming. You understand? And at no time in the Wampanoags history or any of these people did you hear about them coming valiantly to break no chains of slavery for the black man. Never do you hear them, right, talking about going to war with a whole bunch of English settlers over the institution of slavery. That's not what they did. And this last one is I really want to deal with, right? Our young people are just tired of doing things and commemorating celebrations while we broke and oppressed. I can't blame them at all. Being tired of doing things, I don't know what doing things means because I don't know what they're doing, and commemorating celebrations while being broke and oppressed. Like you obviously this person's not broke, right? He's putting money into quality videos. I think it's independently done. He hired some people in there. So he's using his money to make that. So even if he's involved in the community doing certain things, this is still problematic. And you have to deal with that. And there needs to be pushback. Sometimes you just gotta where did we go and how did we get here as a community where pulling people's coattail is something that is like you can't do that no more? Like, why are you even criticizing this man? Everybody should just be able to do whatever they want and say whatever you want, no matter how it offends the community, no matter how it impacts us. Everybody gets a free pass to do anything. That's absolute bullshit. Where is the spine in the community? Why do we have infinite passes for every damn body? You can't do anything. You go to everybody else's community, they're gonna check you when you get out of the cultural bounds and you violate cultural codes and principles. The Irish gonna check you if it's one of their own doing some crazy shit to disrespect. The Irish gonna check them. The Italians gonna check other Italians when they doing stuff that's gonna negatively impact the Italian community. They gonna check them.
You know who gonna check
Jews?
The Jews is definitely gonna check you.
The Jews gonna check you. You
They
understand?
definitely
They're gonna
You're
check you.
anti-Semitic.
So why we can't check our people when we are offended as a community? Why we can't check them? We always just got to shut up and let people say whatever they want, no matter how detrimental
That
it is.
day is
to the
over.
people.
That day
And
is
this ain't
over.
no little. This ain't no little like statement or little image or meme or something. This is a brutal depiction of one of the most heinous. If this actually happened, this would be one of the most heinous things that America has ever seen.
It did happen, Josh,
in recent times.
In a church in Charleston, South
Well, yeah,
Carolina.
that's what I'm just saying. Yeah. But I'm saying
I
if
feel
this
you,
particular one,
I feel you.
it will be different because we expect that coming from a youth like Dylan Roof. How will we expect that coming from? Well, I'm just like I said, I'm just operating under the assumption he's a freedman. How will we see that coming? And that with that type of motivation, that would be one of the most bizarre, heinous crimes. So how is it okay? That's my thing. Who signed off on this, B? Who signed off on this?
Yo, let me tell you something about holidays, right? Somebody said, right, they don't see what you get out of holidays. Well, I think that's the screams or the crying out of a person or a community that has been totally robbed and stripped of family. Like the holiday seasons are about family. It's about family. It's about spending time with, especially Thanksgiving. You get to see cousins and uncles that you haven't seen in a long time because we're spread all out the country, living everywhere. Thanksgiving is one of those holidays that bring family together. I don't celebrate Christmas. I do other holidays, but I don't get upset at people who celebrate Christmas because I know what it means to them in real terms. It's about bringing the family together, having them good times, and being able to, fellowship with one another. It's a family thing, but we've been so robbed and so broken as a family. We don't even see these things as family events no more. And we'll say stuff like, it's not your fault. I don't believe it's your fault. I'm just trying to bring some awareness to why some of these things may be coming out of your mouth and coming out of your mind. It's because of the destruction of the Black family and the impact that it's had on everything that we do and everything that we see in life.
That's right.
Everything is an oppressive event. We can't even enjoy family time. It's become an oppressive event. So we have to understand and get back to the importance of family building. Look at just 1 second. I'm just going to say this and we go. Everything we have made, we have been so poisoned by the system and its ideology. We make everything oppressive. We can't look at the Black man and see a father, a husband, a brother, an uncle. We don't see that. We just see, toxic masculinity because we just accept everything that the system or the society puts out. We can't look at the Black woman and say, that's my mother, that's my sister, that's my wife, that's my daughter, that's my aunt. We have to look at her, she's this whatever new age woman that they're trying to market and promote today. We can't look at the Black boy and say, that's my son, that's my little nephew, that's my cousin. He's into drill. He's into popping perks. Like, we cannot be represented. Everybody gets family representation with us. We don't even get to be families. And that's what is the most important thing in life. And we can't even be family. And now it's come to when I was younger, we didn't have these conversations. Now we get into a time where we're accepting videos where Black men are murdering Black families because they're celebrating Thanksgiving. Look how far we have sunken. That's fucking insane. And then you got people justifying it as art. That ain't no art. That's terrible.
Let's be honest.
That's a mistake.
And even when I was
young people aren't gathering the family up, cooking big meals, and inviting everybody over for Thanksgiving, right? Like young people ain't tired of doing nothing. What you tired of? Your mother putting you in the backseat of your car and taking you on over to your grandmother's or your cousin's house to go eat. Young people ain't like they not stabilized in the family like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, another depiction in this video of him just, you know, slaughtering everybody and everybody, all this affirmation in the comment section. You know, in America, under a system of white supremacy, any day is a good day to kill a family, a black family. You know, any day is a good day to go hunt some black person. You know, it don't matter if they're walking home with tea and Skittles, if they're playing at the park with a toy, if they jogging through the neighborhood. You know, any day is a good day to kill a black family. You know, so of course this is accepted. And I think I seen somewhere where they was interviewing, they was talking, they're like, hey, we put this video together real quick. And we got over 1 million views between, I guess, various social media platforms, right? And I'm like, you know, like you get 1 million views on this, and on YouTube, I think he had like 70,000 comments, right? And out of no, I think it was like 700. I'm sorry, about 700 comments, and it was basically comments of affirmation. You got people like, yeah, like go, you did your thing. You know, a few people saying like, hey, you my favorite artist now, right? You killed a bunch of niggas in Terminator. You the man now, you know? Yep. And just like the Anti-Defamation League comes down on people that depicts or says negative things about the Jewish community, you know, when something comes across our desk at BTP and we see something that depicts the black community, the black family, the Freedmen family in a negative light, we got to speak on it. Like Brother Logic said, you know, your artistry needs to be critiqued, and your artistry needs to, you know, do better. You know,
I just wonder what this brother's background is, man. I mean, I'm just sitting here. I can't help but to think that this brother is not from Freedmen stock.
He is. It's been confirmed. He is, man.
He is? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think what it is, part of it, like I said before, is, you know, I think he has family members that was in the politics, and that's why he made that original.
No, I mean, I know a lot of people just like him. They didn't have the idea to make a video like that. But I used to be like that, and it's because I was heavily into. It's a result of two different problems, right? It's the I'm woke and want to be loud soon as I wake up, instead of wake up and actually get myself educated before I figure out what I need to be loud about. And it's the problem of when you have people who try to get educated, they run straight into Afro-centered teachings. And so you get books like Black African People, European Holidays, and Mental Genocide by Ashaka Musu Barashango. And then like you get like a lot of other Afro-centered, and all they do is tell you that the white man created everything. That's what Pan-Africanism and Afro-centered teachings does. Like, even though we show how the white man did not create Thanksgiving, that it was being celebrated well before he got over here, and that how black folks picked it up and turned it, like we do everything, because now it's just something that Americans do, and we turned it into something meaningful for us, right? Now, and you still have people in the chat saying that it's the white man's holiday. Like, you don't understand how calcified your brain is and your thinking is when you don't take the truth and you say, no, the white man created everything. There's no way that Thanksgiving was being celebrated before he got here. That white man had to bring it, or it wouldn't have been done. Like, that's where you've paralyzed your mind. You understand? And so, like, we have to understand that everything doesn't belong to the white man, okay? And that there is better, and you need to have a American-centered perspective, not an African-centered perspective.
What would happen as Freedmen if we didn't participate in anything the white man created, right? I mean, y'all say like Kyrie Irving. No, I'm not gonna put. There was a post. I don't know. Maybe somebody created up a meme of Kyrie saying he don't celebrate. I don't know if it came from him, if it's real or not. But you know, all of the people on the post was basketball fans. So y'all gonna forego Thanksgiving because a white man established it, but then you play basketball. And like Naismith wasn't a freedman. Naismith, slaves wasn't playing basketball like that. Like a white man created basketball, a white man created football, a white man created a lot of things in this country, right? A white man created American politics. Do we forego that too?
That's right.
Hey,
And look at the stuff that we created, right? We are so Ali coming after this. We are so racially centered. It's like when we were talking about John Brown and we're doing a book club, y'all, December 2nd. Somebody asked me in the chat, should we be honoring white men as heroes or something to that effect? I said we should honor John Brown as an American hero. We've created a lot of stuff too that's in use by not just white Americans, but all Americans and hell, most of the world. And we got to stop looking at things that way. We celebrated Christmas and New Year's in a way that was different from white folk. The black church don't sound like the white church. The white church sounds like the black church is right? Like that's just us. Whatever, it don't matter what it is, we're gonna take it and we're gonna interject our energy into it. The 4th of July, for instance, in New York City, when we're celebrating the 4th of July, it's not just because of Independence Day in the country. It's because slavery ended. I believe the year was 1827 in the state of New York. Somebody correct me on that date. And because of that date, we in New York City celebrated it differently than everybody else. We celebrated in the streets. Other groups like the Italians, etc., they started lighting fireworks and stuff in the streets and having barbecues in the streets based off of what we did. We are trendsetters in this nation. Yellowpain, I hope you listening.
In the world.
Yeah, brother Ali, go ahead, bro.
Trendsetters in the world. I got the ultimate proposal. You want to get, you want to get away from everything created by white men. Stop using them dollars, man. Stop using them dollars with them white men's faces on it. You know what I'm saying? Put them dollars down, man. Get your own currency.
Yeah,
that's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
I got to tell you a quick story. So this past weekend, I was celebrating Thanksgiving with my family. Well, not this past weekend, but this past week I was celebrating Thanksgiving with my family. And when I saw that video, I was like, damn, just imagine like a nightmare. If I had a nightmare and somebody came up in the house like that, and how, like, if I woke up, like, how enraged would I be if I saw that person's face, even if they didn't do it. But let me say, so this weekend was at a family gathering. It was like a post-Thanksgiving family gathering with a bunch of family friends. And one of the friends is not a freedman, right? And he, he's married to a freedman. But he was, I was telling him about Thanksgiving. I don't know how we got on the topic of the Thanksgiving story, right? But then I started telling him about the history of Native American slavery, and how I was telling him about my family history, like how did my ancestors go from, in the census it says my great grandparents, their parents were from Virginia, but they were born in Texas. I say, how did they get from Virginia to Texas? And as kids or whatever the case may be, how do they end up in Texas? Their parents born in Virginia. That's during the early to mid 1840 or something like that. So then I broke down the Indian slave hold. So he was like, "What? I didn't know." He didn't know anything about Indian slaveholding, and so he was like, "No, that makes me not feel that sorry for them in that story." See, because especially for new immigrants, that story not being told. It always, like, no matter what we say about our injustices committed against us, people will say, but what about Indians? So I mean, I think part of it, I was going to add on to what Logic was saying, was this generation of kids, especially, and they don't have a monopoly on it, but this generation of kids, especially Gen Z, has been so neglected from having an F1 mindset, you know, because they kind of were another generation removed from the people that was victimized by that fight, by you know, segregation. Because my mama went to segregated school. So if you were maybe a Gen Z, you might have been a child of somebody mama who went to segregated schools, but they didn't have that lived experience to be able to tell you about what they had to go through, or them seeing burning crosses, or them knowing where the Klan rallies was happening, or them witnessing racial terror of being killed. Or they can't tell you what happened when Dr. King was killed and when Malcolm X was killed and all this type of stuff, of what dealing with the Black Panthers. Like their parents didn't have that experience. So now maybe it's a less of that sentiment in that household to be able to, when they're raising these kids. Let me give you another example. Dave Chappelle just went to what high school? Was it Duke Ellington? I think Dave Chappelle from Duke Ellington.
I think it was it his high school, his old high school?
Yeah,
old high school?
Yeah, in DC. And then he was met with a bunch of boos and you know, people calling him a bigot, right? And I'm like, how does somebody who makes it, you know, coming out of that environment, who can relate to all the people coming from there, a Homer, come back after I mean, he's stupid, rich, and successful, and he's a freedman, and he's speaking up. Essentially, what he's saying is, you know, these people are encroaching and trying to, you know, use the freedman plight to being the most victim, to paint themselves as the most victim, and you can't even say nothing about them. Like, they got untouchable protected status. You can't even make a joke about them. And he brings that up, and then that their mindset is so entrenched into what I see as some of the same stuff that is the same, coming from a similar point that Yellowpain is coming from. With whereas, you know, you feel like you got to be the mouthpiece and stand up for everybody else's plight, and you ain't even got your own stuff straight. We already lined up. This group got hate crimes, and you know, they was talking about the CBC was talking about the LGBT wealth gap, and every other group. You know, you got the national, quote unquote, National Black Justice Coalition talking, pretty much advocating for gay reparations. And like everybody else has to fold into what is today's neoliberal position, which is still maintain Black folks at the bottom, but you need Black folks to be the mouthpiece to advocate for elevating everybody else. And that's a problem. And I think that may be part of a generational thing, man. It may be a part of a generational thing, but it's up to us to try to stop that. Otherwise, like, the next generation is coming up, they just going to ensure that they carry out that plan, and we just be finished.
You know, one thing when you do look at his YouTube catalog of videos, he does hit on several different subjects, but you also get the feeling that he's in tune with, you know, different groups of people outside of the Freedmen community, right? And the imagery in this video supports that. So there's like white women, their white daughters going through things. You know, it's like there's a collective group of people. Normally, when you look at like a hip hop artist, it'll basically be like all Black people. So I think like he carries that POC banner, right? And you know, like I said earlier, you know, a lot of the videos have messages for people that's, you know, going through certain things, and I think he's a good artist. But on this one right here, on this Thanksgiving, he missed the point. I think he not only did he shoot an air ball, he shot it way into the crowd. Like he didn't get nowhere to basket on this.
Yeah, he missed that one.
You know, there's an article in the Guardian, right? Like Josh was talking about, you know, the percentage of white people that own slaves, or percentage of Native Americans that own slaves. And there's an article in the Guardian I had stumbled across, you know, about a year ago, and it surprised me, right? It says the Ho-Chunk Nation are Native American tribe that owns a string of casinos across Wisconsin. Ho-Chunk children get a share of casino profits once they've graduated and turn 18. And they call the money 18 money. So when you graduate at At 18, you get this money. 18 months, right?
Yep.
And it's $200,000, right? You get $200,000, right? So while we say, nah, only 1% of Native Americans had slaves, yeah, but look at what they was able to build for generations to come. $200,000, right? And they've been giving this money out for generations. And it grows as the wealth of the tribe and the casino wealth gets bigger and bigger. They got more money to get. $200,000, right? And nobody asks what these people are doing. This is, some left field stuff, but nobody asks what they doing with their money, right? Some of these kids, if you watch this video, some of these kids got their money, bought cars, drugs, and OD, didn't even get to spend all their money. But nobody asks, how they gonna spend it and how should it be marginalized or nothing like that, right?
That's right.
They get to spend slave money, right? Like slaves, we took them west. They did what slaves do. They built this land up, and now we able to flourish and send money down to our descendants. So I don't want to hear about no 500 tribes and only X number of tribes fought slavery. Tell me about the tribes that fought against slavery. Tell me about the tribes that initially fought the Pilgrims. As soon as they got off the boat and they said, whoa, these people ain't right. These devils right here. Don't tell me about a tribe that kissed up to them and aligned with them and was buddy for 2 decades, and then the hatchet turned on them, and now they want to crawl on us. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to like that's between you and your best friend that turned to your oppressor. We don't have anything to do with that. Like I said, we've been celebrating Thanksgiving before you guys got massacred, when y'all was still buddy. And we're going to continue to celebrate Thanksgiving now that y'all aren't the best of friends, because y'all still friends. Y'all still seem to be getting a lot of things from the white man and excluding freedmen even till this day. And I would have liked for, him to even understand that. We got freedmen now on reservations fighting for just the simplest things,
That's right.
They didn't even get COVID tests, let alone, get the treatment. And they was getting subsidized from the federal government, getting carve out. You got to carve out from the federal government, and you carve the freedmen people out. I don't want to hear nobody say I got Indian in my blood no more.
I don't want to hear it.
Thin your hair is. That's like a descendant of Sally Hemings and Thomas Jefferson saying I got white in me, right? Like, no, you got rape in you. I don't want to hear that mess no more, and as these Native Americans became more savage, they was battling with white folks too, right? So, we got some black slaves, but we fighting against the whites because our coalition broke down. They would allow the white slave or the white captives to marry in and let them out of bondage for marrying in. But if you did that with the freedmen or the slaves at that time, you was disowned from your tribe. They want nothing to do with black people then, and they want nothing to do with black people now. We don't owe them a damn thing, right?
That's right.
And we're tired of people anchoring them into what we got going on or what we should have going on. Nobody gets to steer this freedman ship but freedmen.
That's
not
right.
white fragility, not Karen, not Zaddy Bob, and not Native Americans, right?
That's right.
We get to create our own narrative, and we get to direct this thing where we want to go. And like I said, Native Americans aren't our friends. They're not our allies. Now, we can align on some things, maybe, given our history, I think not. But we can align on some things, you still owe us. You still owe our people on your reservation.
You don't got none of them running around talking about, look at how curly my hair is. I got freedmen in my family.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't see none of them doing that.
They didn't.
We the only people that do that kind of stuff.
White celebrating July 4th. They didn't make a video of Native Americans killing Native Americans, saying why y'all still celebrating July 4th.
Right.
Yeah.
And look at what they did to them black people, and y'all celebrating July 4th. Like, nobody does that. All of these things y'all talking about, nobody else does that kind of stuff. Like, maybe the Latinos do, but the Latinos love running around talking about they Tainos and shit. So they do that too.
Yeah. When they're trying to get some culture points, that's it. Like that's yeah. They don't do it when it counts. For all them Tainos and all them, you know, the butter pecan Ricans and all of that shit, go tell them to pull their paperwork out. Let's put you pull your paperwork. I don't want to. You'll tell me like Fat Joe will tell you, yeah, we black. Yeah, let me see them contracts you done signed, and let me see all
those say white on them.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
that was exposed when Mikey Garcia, for those who don't know, he's a boxer that my bro Errol Spence washed in a boxing match. Right? So he put up. I know why you laughing, Ali. He put up some documents online saying that he was injured, and it said for his race, white, and everybody was clowning him because they don't understand Federal Directive 15. But most of these Hispanics have white as an identifier and he's not Puerto Rican, he's Mexican American. You see? So most of these guys have white on their documentation. And you know,
he
that
said it was an
goes to
accident.
underscore what Brother Lobby was saying.
Yo,
It was an accident.
my response to that was let's pull up some more paperwork and see how accident prone you are. Let's pull up all them documents.
Not just the Latinos. When the Native Americans come up off the reservation, they checking that white box too. They know what they
quick. And ain't none of them talking about, see, look at me, I got Freedmen in my family. Ain't none of them doing that.
Yeah, Divine. That's what I'm talking about. Free Spence versus Crawford. That fight needs to be free. That's why we was kind of laughing. We got a little inner debate going on. We ain't gonna talk about that, but we are gonna start talking boxing on the other channel on the
all
BPP.
sports.
Well, all sports. But we're gonna kind of put an emphasis on boxing. So if anybody's interested in helping us build that portion of our platform, because that's Freedmen stuff. We made these sports great. It's just as simple as that. And you know, we're trying to do an overall roundabout news program with Be the Power. We want to make, like I always say, BTP into our own TYT. We can run real progressives, because real progressives are those people that were fighting the radical Republicans, not today's Republicans who are conservatives. Yesterday's Republicans that were conservatives were Democrats. But the real radical Republicans from back in those days, they were the ones that were fighting to abolish slavery and the rights of our people. We've read many of those Freedmen bills that were proposed by Stevens, etc., right here on this platform. So, you know, we want to get this thing going, right? Because then we would have the power to start bringing our own candidates, those people who are worthy of the support of Freedmen, especially Be the Power, in their run for office. So, you know, for those of you who are interested, send an email, btplivecast@gmail.com. You can also send an email at our website, usadof.org. Y'all can send some contributions as well. Help us make this platform grow. You can cash app us at Be the Power as well. What else? Oh, go to our website, bethepower.org. Mods, if y'all can put those links in the chat for the family, read our 12-point political program so that you'll know that we're not just getting on this platform just to talk. We have a plan, and we are going to see that plan to fruition. Know that for a fact. So, you know, we had a good discussion today. We coming up on 2.5 hours. The brother,
I think
Yellowpain,
it's safe to say he's not coming.
Yeah. You know, he said he was going to come on. I was actually hoping, to be honest with you, I was hoping that this brother came on, right? Because it's one thing when we could say, you know, say the stuff that we say. But when we're on with folks, we tone it down unless they start getting belligerent. Then we're going to pull a hammer out and bop you upside the head with it. It's just as simple as that. But
man, I told y'all it'd be easy, man. I told y'all
we was going too hard in the beginning with the education.
Crush them, scare them away, man. I told
we couldn't just have idle conversation, Josh. We had to get into the, you know.
When we think we being lightweight, man. You know, you think you being lightweight, you still just hitting people with bazookas, right, man. You know,
you're right. You know, you got some of them boxers using a boxing analogy. Speaking of
Yeah,
boxing,
yeah. I don't know the boxing analogies.
now
brother,
you got cats that's lightweights that could spar middleweights and welterweights because they hit so damn hard. And you know, we was trying to do a little lightweight, but you know, I guess we kind of hit a little too hard. And you know, yeah, the Wednesday
Wednesday night
night
interview.
interview. Check out our other channel, family, the Be the Power Media Group channel. We're gonna get that channel back live. We're gonna have an interview. I can't remember this acronym, but it's I believe that's the National African American Gun Association. With Sister Roz. We're going to be talking about Freedmen, Second Amendment rights. And you know, I look forward to that. I may jump on there because I want to talk about New York, man. You know, New York is a place that has gun restrictions that are like no place else in the United States of America. And you can't protect yourself out there. You're at the whims of anybody that chooses to pull a gun out on you. So, oh, okay, I got it right. That's good. That's good. Shout out to Sister Roz. I can't wait for that one tomorrow as well. You know, so you know, I'm gonna go back around the table to the brothers. We came, we saw, we conquered like we always do. I hope that this brother Yellowpain sees this information tonight and deletes the video. Like, I know, you know, it has some artistic value in his mind, but education should correct education should override wrong information all day, every day. So if not, I mean, we're going to be forced to start a petition because we don't to get the video removed because we don't know if this may lead to some type of violence from some hoteps or some other type of people that may just kill their families up on Thanksgiving. You know, we just showed you a link earlier of a young man that killed his mother on Thanksgiving while she was cooking food. Like, come on. Like, we're gonna have to petition to get that video removed, family, and we're gonna put that up. So, you know, we'll give the brother a day. Hopefully the brother will say, you know what, these brothers went in, they provided sources, they provided links. I mean, he was able to see everything.
Man, y'all do us even one further. Everybody that's watching tonight, go on his Twitter and just tag this video. He has both of his videos up, or wherever y'all find him at on Instagram, on Twitter, right? He has his videos up, and just put this link to this video in those tweets and in those posts. And just put the link in there.
Yeah.
And Sister Roz says she's already reported it as hate speech, and that's what responsible communities would do. Like Josh was saying, they would call it anti-Semitism, they would call it hate speech. The Asians would say stop Asian hate. They would identify stuff like that as hate. Our people are willing to let everything slide, just like you said, Logic. They're just willing to give infinite amounts of passes to people in the name of being entertained or whatever the hell it is that they think it is. But that's crazy. We have to become more responsible to ourselves and to our people, man. We can't just let everything slide.
We're not. We are the vanguards, family. The spirit of these men behind me, Blanche Bruce, Frederick Douglass, Hiram Revels. That's why I keep them up. They are the wind beneath our Freedmen wings, not to mention the others that we always mention, like Prince Rivers and what's the brother that took the steam?
Robert Smalls.
Robert Smalls. I mean, come on.
Harriet
Tubman. Our Freedmen champion. Moses Dixon.
Frederick Douglass, man.
Frederick Douglass, the godfather of the Freedmen. Come on, y'all. We gotta we have to be the vanguard. So, you know, y'all bros, take us out with a closing argument. And you know, we did what we came to do.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say peace. I'm glad everybody tuned in. I appreciate you all's time. You know, we all appreciate y'all's time. Share the video with your friends, families, you know, whatever. I think we explained the position pretty well, and I'm sure he understands. If he was listening, I'm sure he understands what it is, and I'm pretty certain that's why he didn't, you know, he decided not to come through.
Yeah,
I would say, everybody, go read the article, comment on it, comment on the brother page, let you know what y'all think. And hopefully y'all learned something tonight. So when somebody comes up to you and say, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving, we shouldn't be, doing all these traditional things that our ancestors done and we've continued to do, you will be able to, weaponize yourself with a proper response to them and let them know, man, get up out of here with that trash, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Get that pseudoscience up out of here. We Americans. This is American culture. These are American holidays. We do American things. If you want to do un-American stuff, go to a place other than America. But stop coming over here trying to get us to be outside of our tradition and culture. We are American. With that, you guys have a great night.
Peace.
Yeah, straight up.
Brother Logic and Josh.
Yeah. Just remember that just like the Dr. King said, there's two Americas. We represent the other America. They represent the other America. You understand? So understand when we say we're Americans.
Other America.
Yeah, when we say we're Americans, right? You have to know this Freedmen history to understand what we mean. You have to know that foundational American history to know who the true Americans are. We are the true Americans in this republic. You understand? We built it from the ground up. You understand? Sustained it, saved it from self-destruction over and over again. That's us. We did that. I'm saying we are the true Americans, foundational to this country, native to this republic. And we are, the freedmen after the construction, like the greatest liberators in the nation. And so once you understand what being like outside, once you have to purge yourself from all that African-centered thinking and recenter your thinking back in America, grounded and rooted into your own history of trials, tribulations, and triumphs. You understand? And then stand on your square as an American freedman. Then you too, right, will have the power. So that's what I got, man. I'm out, man. Class will be in session. Same BTP time, same BTP place.
Yeah.
Will they do it again?
Yeah.
Yes, they will.
Brother John.
Yeah. I just want to, put this message out to all the young Harus out there. When it's Christmas time, man, go be with your family. Go get you a plate.
Be with your family, man.
Go enjoy this Freedman trend.
That's right.
This Freedman tradition. Look, if you want to consider yourself woke, if you are into the Freedman history, then you can consider yourself woke. Everything else, you just fake woke in America, because this Freedman history in America. That's when you're not learning some pseudo, feel good stuff. This Freedman history is the real feel good stuff, when you can really feel true pride about your heritage, your people, your history of what your people overcame, and you still have juice in your fight to get us justice right now. It's not based off of something that happened 5,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago. No. If you really want to say you woke, you would be echoing our message. In my opinion, it ain't no other wokeness when it comes to social justice and the political realm and economic justice. There's no other wokeness for us.
Anything else, you just daydreaming.
Yeah, there you go. You just daydreaming and you fantasizing, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So all you Harus, go get you a plate on Christmas. You might have missed out on Thanksgiving. But go back and be with your family.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
And Josh ain't telling you to go and take Christianity and get all involved. He said go be with your family.
Be with your family.
These are times to be with your family, man.
I'm telling you from experience. Like Logic just said, he was a Haru back in the day. I was a Haru. My name.
Nah, but I still went. I was a Haru, but I still went to my mom's crib and got
Not
me.
me. I was a complete nut. I was out here doing that same stuff, chastising people, ruining all the good energy in the room. I'm out there like they hate to see me come. Like, God damn, here he come again with this bullshit. That was me. So that's how I can speak
Hey,
about
how
it like that.
DMX
'Cause
said it,
I
Belly.
used to do that.
Hey, go again. Hey, go
Yeah, here you go
again.
again. I was Sharif. I was Sharif sitting on the cooler.
Sharif.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had to evolve out of that though, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And look, like I say this again, this YouTube should take this down. It shouldn't be. How is it they got all these algorithms and all this? You know, Facebook had a whole huge overhaul of civil rights, audit, and they failed all kind of tests. They got all these algorithms. They can block you and block your account if you put something. You know, if you call somebody the N-word, if you call somebody the coon or something like that, they can shut you down.
Can't even say. You can't even say donkey.
Yeah, but you can shoot and brutally murder a black family on camera, and then that doesn't get
tabs
flagged.
on you, Ali.
You know what I'm saying? How was that a thing? How was that a thing? So that should, to me, that also tells me that YouTube is in agreement with this message.
I had got so bad. Fam. That's why I really have to do my part in cleaning up this foolishness because I was so terrible. I used to be telling folks, "You out here eating the white man's turkey, the white man's turkey."
Like the white man buying those atoms together to create that bird by mixing two.
It was a big head scientist, man.
Big head scientist that came to America for a spell and spliced the genes by extracting the melanin of the carbon of.
Yo, I was gone, son. I was telling them, y'all out here eating the white man's turkey, doing all this. Yo, I was bugged out, man. That's how I gotta help my brothers who are still out there suffering from that disease, man.
That's funny. So,
all right, I ain't got nothing else to say.
No doubt. All right, so look, man, let me just recap. Brother Yellowpain, if you are still listening, and I believe that you are, we're gonna challenge the video. We're gonna challenge it.
We got to.
We have to. And my bros was speaking, and I was brought to something that Dave Chappelle said in his stand-up Sticks and Stones when he said the F word. If we say it on here, they're gonna just probably delete the whole damn video. And he told the producer told him rather, you can't say that. He said, but I could say the N-word. The producer said, well, yeah, but you're not the F word. And Dave Chappelle said, and I'm not the N-word neither. So basically, you can say the N-word. You can say whatever you want about black people. A report just came out recently, y'all. Look it up. That the Facebook, and Ali is the major victim of this. Facebook, when it deleted comments and suspended people's accounts, it was largely black folk that they did this to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that just came out the other day. It was largely black folk that did this to. See, when it comes to us, you can dump on us. You can say whatever you want to say about us. You could create a video on YouTube. Post Dylan Ruth Charleston, South Carolina church massacre. Post George Floyd lynching in the street. Post Ahmaud Arbery lynching in the street. You could make a video where you're slaughtering a black family for celebrating Thanksgiving. That says something. Biden, as I showed earlier, signed a bill for the same people, the Indians who were in line with the European and enslaving our ancestors. They were the other white supremacists. If you think about it, the other. No more, family. We are the vanguards. Point blank, period. We're not letting this stuff slide no more. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. The sisters live stream will be tomorrow on the BTP Media Group channel. We're going to get that channel popping. We're going to grow that channel to the same numbers that we have this channel. Hell, I want to grow that channel past this channel, to be honest with you. So what else? Oh, the book club. The John Brown book club is December 2nd. Y'all make sure y'all get on it. Let me share the screen. We're going to talk about some things about this great American hero that fought for our people. That is the core. The man who killed slavery, sparked the Civil War, and seeded civil rights. John Brown, Abolitionist, by David S. Reynolds. That's December 2nd. December 2nd. Like we gonna go in, family. We're not gonna stop teaching. We're gonna fulfill the broken promises of Reconstruction. We are going to overthrow the overthrow of Reconstruction. That is a fact. We are going to protect this Freedmen house, for we are its vanguards. Make no mistake about it. Nobody will ever make a video like Yellowpain made again, and we not say nothing about it. And we're going to bring all the attention in the world to it. Know that to be a fact. I was going to say best believe it. To believe basically means to be unsure. Know that to be a fact. Know that to be a fact. So I'll leave you all with the motto of the platform, which is don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then when you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.